Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round one of season 7 for the Premier Endurance League GT3 Limited Series, brought to you by Offroad, as we come into tonight to one of the meccas of racing in Australian sim sports and Australian motor racing as well. Mount Panorama Circuit, a track in which will demand respect from you. It'll demand perfection as well if you want to make it around this 6.2 kilometre circuit across the next 2 hours unscathed, unbothered, and in a race-winning position. Bathurst, it is an all-timer. It's the perfect way for us to start our season on the cusp of the real-life Bathurst 12-hour next weekend. And as we get ourselves prepared for the end of qualifying and in towards the 2-hour race this evening, Hamish Ronda here with you, Dean Biggles alongside me. We are prepped and ready for one all-time season this season. And honestly, Bathurst, Adelaide, Road America, Le Mans, in the Circuit de la Sarre and Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as well. Dean, it's a huge season, 5 rounds. We started last week with the Open Series. We come into tonight with the Limited Series, and the sort of racing we saw last season, we could be on for an all-timer here this evening.
Yeah, looking forward to it, my friend. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. At least 37 or so already tuned in to watch this absolutely stacked gladiator field there of drivers. Brave drivers, of course, willing to tackle the mountain here. Up here in New South Wales, my friend, and as you said, look at those 5 amazing tracks that we're going to be attending to. We're going to head over there, obviously to Adelaide. We go over to the United States of America there. Then we head over to Europe for the final 2 races of Le Mans and Spa, my friend. All mighty and challenging tracks in their own.
I mean, every single circuit's going to offer a little bit of everything for us, and starting it tonight at Bathurst, it's a circuit in which the drivers should have plenty of laps under their belt in GT machinery. And knowing that the 12-hour is coming up, as well as other events in future too, including the LSR 12-hour as well, it's Bathurst season at the start of the year, and how could you not be excited for what's to come off the back of the chaos, controversy, and extravaganza that it was last week in the Open Series as well. It's exciting times coming into tonight, Dean, knowing what Bathurst can offer us, with qualifying just about to get to an end, and the racing will get begun very, very shortly. It means that there's some goosebumps, there's some hairs standing on end, and there's a bit of an electricity in the air as well. It's always an exciting time when we get to go sports car racing, Dean, but what better place to start it out than Bathurst, really? I mean, it's the home of Australian motorsports fans' hearts, not just for obviously supercars, but sports car racing as well, as Scott Rankin has lost it at the quickly known Puddle of Death at McPhillamy Park. That's going to catch a couple of drivers out tonight. It's already caught them out tonight in qualifying thus far. And this time it's caught out Scott Rankin, the current provisional pole sitter.
Yeah, there's the photographer there that didn't even bother to jump out of the way, did he? But I think that with the qualifying over and done and dusted at the moment, he will take the top step at the moment. We're never going to hear the end of it, are we, from Scotty?
No, we're really, really not. Unless I think Greg Barber of OPR or Kane Ryder could possibly get past him. We're never going to hear the end of it from Scotty. So, yeah, I think...
I could get my revenge,
please.
Hamish. I could show up that picture. And I've still got
could.
No, I've always got
you
it
could.
there.
There it is.
There's
What a man to be on pole, as Owen Coleman has now gone to P2, by the way, in his final attempt here in qualifying. Wow. So final laps are currently underway, and drivers are just settling into their final push home. Kane Ryder is just coming down towards the chase at this stage. Is it going to be an improvement for the team Max Boost driver in the 718 Lamborghini? Resurgence for the Lamborghini this season. Bit of a resurgence as well for the Corvette too. But they're already getting a provisional pole at this stage. That new tyre update on that car has really done wonders for it in terms of performance. But Kane Ryder has picked Scott Rankin and gets into the threes nonetheless. That's a great lap time.
Let's see what else he can do. We got Greggy out there. He's coming down out of the elbow. That's got to be the perfect corner that you need to master the mountain, my friend, isn't it? Always get the elbow because you've got that long straight, the Conrad straight to go all the way down into the chase. That's essentially half the track, so you don't get your speed right on the elbow, mate. You just can't. You just lost yourself so much pace down here.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, Dean, is either side of the run across the top of the mountain, so turn 2 and then Forest Elbow as well, you make a mistake at one of those corners and it can actually lead to a lot of trouble. You make a mistake at turn 2, it ruins the entire lap, ultimately. You have to get turn 2 right to set yourself up for the run across the top of the hill. As Greg Barber's going to come into pit lane, the man who enjoys some eclectic socks, known as Greg Barber, of course, is into pit lane now. Stephen Tonkin has finished out his lap time at this stage. I believe Matt Schmidtke may have already finished his lap as well, and then same for Dean Reddit possibly too, but they're just trying to finish theirs out. I mean, it's ultimately turn 2 at Griffiths Bend and then, Forest Elbow. There, I agree with you, Dean. I think make a mistake at either of them and it's going to put you in a lot of trouble. Knowing that the run across the top is so hard to make overtakes, you want to try and set yourself up for down at the chase. And if the car in front of you makes a massive mistake through Forest Elbow, it's going to give you almost a handout in terms of going for the position. And if you're not willing to take it off the back of that mistake, are you going to be willing to go for the overtake at all?
That's true. That's true. And let us know out there tonight if you got particular drivers, teams that you're supporting out there. We'll try to, if we get a chance to switch the cameras over there and we listen to the audience here, and we do appreciate it. And if you are having some fun, make sure you do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well too, and hit the notifications too to keep up with all of the endurance racing, both of the open and the limited for tonight and this season. There, Hamish, as we're going to get ready for we're not going to get ready for a grid just yet.
A little warm up first of all.
Yeah.
We do indeed. So I think to give a little bit of, obviously, to give you some thought here and some lore on what's going to be going on this season. The end of last season, it was, not even just the end, the majority of the season last season, dominated by AITT Revolution E-Racing by way of Isaac Curtis and Trent Allen, neither of which are in the field this season for the limited series. That's going to open now the door up to different drivers being able to take on the chance to take home not only the Elite Class Championship, but also for that Challenger class as well. There's a few drivers amongst this list that could very well make a challenge for both of those title races. There are a few names in here that weren't here last season that I do recognise, and there's of course names here from last season that I do recognise as well. So from both parties of new fans coming in, new drivers coming in, and old drivers coming in as well, it's going to really make for a nice eclectic mix of drivers. And ultimately, I think what's going to come down to, not just tonight, but even next week as well at Adelaide, Dean, is who's going to be willing to have the forethought to take their time on lap 1, not try and win the race at lap 1, turn 1, and try and push on for the 2 hours. We know that the fact of the matter is, drivers are not going to win the championship tonight. They're not going to win the race in the first hour. A little bit of patience is going to be needed. And those that can have it underneath their eyelids to remind them, let's not try and go for it too early, they're more than likely going to be the ones to make it to the end of this race in a race-winning position, more so than those who are going to try and dive bomb up at turn 2 on lap 1, which ultimately on cold tyres, probably going to lead to some drama, I would say.
Yeah, endurance race, you got to think long-term, not short-term. And you're right. To me, if I was engineering a team, because I'm not a driver, but if I was engineering a couple of drivers out there, I'd be like, let's just try to maximize whatever results we can get today. Let's not try necessarily to get the race win or be on a podium or something like that. If it's not achievable, let's just get whatever we can. Start our season, with some good hurler points at least, and then see how it pans out. Because Bathurst is one of those races, as you know, mate. You can get caught in a tango, get caught in a massive incident. You're on the damage clock. You're in big trouble. There's not too much you can do about it because you get track blockers up there in the mountain. But just try to be patient. Maybe just try a completely different strategy as well too. If you feel that there's a lot of traffic out there holding you up, lots of situations. There's another spinner as well, and you can see those still puddles. One of those puddles is still going to be there in the race. Yeah, Hamish, from that shower that we had.
Yeah, a lot of drivers, or the drivers, were told pre-race by the admins, just try and run through that puddle as best you can across the top, dissipate some of the water. It will lightly dissipate throughout the race. Will it dissipate completely? I don't know. That's going to depend how many drivers are willing to drive through the puddle. It is a big high-risk move, of course, to try and do that. I would say at this early stage of the season, Dean, we mentioned drivers just trying to maximize points early on and just trying to maybe go for a solid performance. Ultimately, I think those drivers that are going to try and focus on their race ultimately control the controllable, because you can't control what the other drivers are going to do. You can only control what you're going to do. But I think if you come into the race with the mentality of, let's make it to the end without taking an extra pit stop tonight. Let's make it to the end by keeping the car at a pit lane, seeing the sort of points that can be on offer. I think it's going to need to be a similar scenario next time out at Adelaide as well, knowing those tight concrete walls at Adelaide, knowing the kind of chaos that can come at Adelaide too. So giving yourself that early mindset here tonight at Bathurst to then go on to Adelaide in a few weeks' time for round 2, you're going to set yourself up well if you can maximise on that mindset, on that perspective, and on that strategy. And ultimately, those who will fall, and those who will push too early will likely fall as well. So I think the drivers, majority of them, are going to be smart enough to try and push on early in this race at a clean, consistent rate. It's how willing they are to push on later on in the race at a full push.
That's what it's going to be all about. Hamish knows he's called thousands and thousands and thousands of races and thousands of them at Bathurst in the past.
And not thousands. I'm only a little over 600 at this point in terms of broadcasts.
Okay. Just a little over 600. Yeah. How many at Bathurst?
I would argue probably less than 20 at Bathurst, I reckon.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Bathurst probably not the most. It's probably not the track that I've done the most at. I'd argue that. I don't actually. It might even be around 10 that I've done at Bathurst. I haven't done that many. I would argue. I think the track I've done the most at is probably Belle Isle, either Belle Isle or maybe the Hockenheimring. They may be the most I've done, or possibly Phillip Island. I don't know. They're off the top of my head. But it's, pressure's been rising for these drivers. They've had a little break in between seasons, but this is the point where it is crunch time. This is the point for these drivers. Every bit of practice they've done, every little thing they put into qualifying, this is when it matters most. It's about to be race start time, and for Kane Ryder, he couldn't be starting from a better position. Pole position here tonight, alongside Scott Rankin on the front row. In behind them will be Owen Coleman alongside Greg Barber for our second row of the grid. Daniel McCrowan will then start in behind them alongside James Mason. That's a double top 5 start tonight for Team Max Boost. That is going to be an interesting combination going forward. And then in behind them will be Matt Webber and Stephen Tonkin for our top 8 entries. Matt had some good performances last season, and we're hoping to build on it here into Season 7. Kurt Chapman's finally found himself a team in its ARTT Revolution eRacing. He'll start alongside John Trott on the 10th row of the grid. We're going to have to go by this very quickly because we're only doing half a lap. Nathan Hodges, Rue Koistra will then start in behind them, with Alfonso Latea and Vinny Nguyen starting for the top 14. Down towards 15th and 16th, we have ourselves Luke King and Brock Cat-Eye on the 8th row of the grid. For the 9th row, we move on to Jesse Butler and Edward Adcock, and then to our top 20, we will find Matt Schmidtke and Daniel Piper as well. We haven't gotten to a Challenger class driver yet. They're all elites. Richard Mayer, Dean Red at the top 22. Then we get to our first of our Challenger class drivers with Ben Wilkes down there, Matt Crozier, Alex Tzikis for the top 26 here tonight as well. We're probably a little bit too close to race start to try and finish it out, but Luke Capozza, Nick Clydesdale as well for our top 28 cars. There's still another 22 in behind them with Sean Benici and Gavin Simpson looking to start this one out as well as we look to traverse the final corner and get ourselves prepped and ready for the start line as Premier Endurance League Dash Off-Road underway at Mount Panorama once again. It's a hot start for Kane Ryder. Scott Rankin P2, Greg Barber, Owen Coleman, Mason, the top 5 before turn 1. Can they make it through nice and clean for the first run up the hill? And how many of them could make it through Griffin's Bend when they get up towards turn 2 for the very first time? As Ryder leads us up the hill, the revs rise, the pressure rises, Rankin sits on his heels, and Rory 2-1 in the braking zone in the background with a couple of drivers going for moves, including Kurt Chapman, who's wanting a run up the inside at Griffin's there. He's got that job done on Tonkin, but the pressure is starting to build now on those drivers up towards the cutting, and the rise up the hill begins for the first time, and somehow, Dean, we have made it through the first 4 corners unscathed and with no one in the barriers.
I think everybody got your memo, my friend, all about just take it easy at the moment. It's climbed all the way up the mountain there, actually, starting to climb down the mountain. So very, very, very impressed with all these drivers. Do apologise we could get through the whole grid. It's pretty much stacked here tonight, but trust me, we've got a couple of hours to go through and see how that's all going to pan out as they're going to make their way back down.
We got many, many hours to go still. Just under 2 hours to go in this race, and it's only lap 1 of however many we get through over those 2 hours. Safety cars will be a factor tonight. I'll almost guarantee you we'll see a safety car appearance here. Ironically, in the Open Series last week, we didn't even see the safety car, but we did have safety car periods. There were issues with the safety car not being able to go on track, so it turned into a VSC period. James Mason's dealing with some blinking issues coming down the straight, so that's going to be a struggle for Daniel McCrowan and Matt Webber just in behind him as well. But they'll run down through the chase, the fastest corner in Australia Motorsport, as they run through, take all the tarmac on your left, and then you head into the braking zone, heavy under brakes, down to 4th gear, and try and set yourself up. Well, interesting strategy of Mason to take 2nd through there. Feels like a bit of a low gear for a run through the chase there, Dean, but I suppose whatever works for him as Scott Rankin continues to apply pressure to Kane Ryder. I've just seen a comment in the chat from Jake Edwards. Fire up Jake Edwards fans, he's in the chat. Apparently Kane Ryder has a 6K Formula I rating.
Wow. That's impressive.
It's very, very impressive for him to have that on board his licenses here in iRacing, of course. And as we petered out into our race start, a nice and tidy first lap has been completed. And I think the struggle now is, Dean, so it's going to take these guys a couple laps just to get the tyres up to temperature, just to get them into their peak performance. And for those early big movers on lap 1, well, Bradley Hudswell, sorry, great start, up 6 already off that race start. He took advantage early, as did Mark Foster, as did Jason Adams. They're up 5 apiece. Daniel Fritz up 4, and Ben Gorringe up 4 as well. So there's some early risers, the back end of the field, taking advantage of some issues there for some other drivers as well. But how is this guy going to go this season? Scott Rankin steps out of the booth. Obviously got sick of hanging out with us last season, Dean.
Yes.
And steps on board the Corvette, maybe to show up Tom Wilkinson perhaps and say, hey, this is actually how you drive the Corvette, or maybe some personal pride as well. We'll have to see how Scott goes. He's getting more into his driving this season, which is great to see. He's been driving the Porsche Cup car, doing some NASCAR stuff as well. Fortunately, he's recently started a new job that's going to not allow him to race NASCAR at this stage, as there's a 15-second penalty going the way of Alex Tzikis for causing an incident under the safety car, not the way that he'd want to be starting his PEL career here tonight in Season 7.
Yeah, there you go. That's live race control that we have at the moment. There is a potential Porsche car showing the dummy at the moment there for Scotty. I think Kane Ryder knows that you're not going to be sending one in from there, my friend. Not an endurance race. Of course, if that was a sprint race at the last lap, maybe. But you certainly wouldn't be doing it so early. That's one of the closest battles, believe it or not, on track. That's the situation currently as it is. When your challenger leader at the moment is Ben Wilkes down there in P23, and he's got a few cars in between him.
This is not fair for me now, Dean, because we both work for our good friend Jim Cunningham.
Yes.
And of course, we had an issue with the stream key earlier tonight, which has started up a stream on his channel early. And I'm not the producer this evening, and I'm getting blamed for it in the chat. It was not me, I promise. We forgot to change a key as someone has gone off track. It was Root Koistra, I think. Root Koistra has just been off at turn 1. He hasn't hit the wall, but he has kept himself going, luckily. He's just rising up the hill now, but just trying to get back up to speed is Root at this stage of the race. But down 18 already. That is not the start that Root Koistra would have wanted.
We also got the fantastic picture-in-picture because Hamish was bragging about how he's got a new upgraded computer, so he's got all the fancy-looking graphics, so you can see there in the bottom right of your picture. So if I happen to miss something or something tends to go on in the background there and replays and stuff like that, then Hamish will get that covered for you. So thank you much, Hamish. Man that's not only fantastic at commentating, but and also
keep everything on the screen for everyone. I mean, to be fair, Dean, there's 54 cars on track. We have to do our best to try and cover everyone as much as possible, I suppose. Early stages of this race, this is likely where this is probably the highest percentage where you are going to make a mistake in the race. Obviously, cold tyres, cold brain a little bit as well. It's when the most pressure's put onto you, I think, as well, because you just want to try and make it to that first pit stop. When you get to that first pit stop, that's when you know, right, we've survived half an hour, we can survive another hour and a half now. Let's just push on, let's try and take advantage, and let's try and keep ourselves in the best spot possible going forward. So, that's what the sort of pressure is going to be on these guys. There have been some drivers who have already come in pit lane. Jacob Hughes came in on lap 1, Matthew Carrick came in on lap 1 as well. They had longer stops. I have to wonder if they may have actually missed the race start.
That's quite a possibility. You might be mentioned on that one. There's a nice little battles brewing up there with Coleman and Mason. That's a battle for P4 and P5 you can currently see. There is Kane Ryder seeing another fastest lap, the quickest of everybody. The first driver actually in the 204 club, the late 204, 204.84.
The only one in qualifying as well, Dean, to get into the threes too. So, that's a pretty big feat for him to be the only one to get that accomplishment in qualifying. Greg Barber, he's known to have some pretty good pace. Normally known to be in the race control booth over in SRW, but it's finally got him a chance to do some racing. And he's decided to give it a go at PEL this season, back in his favourite, old faithful Porsche GT3 992. And he's starting to put some pressure now on Scotty Rankin. And the irony here is, Dean, for those that may not know the history of Scott Rankin, which if you don't know, where have you been? Scott actually used to commentate in SRW.
Yes.
Whilst Greg was still race control. So it's like a meeting of old connections once again. To give you a further piece of irony, I also used to commentate in SRW. So I get to commentate a former SRW commentator and an SRW race controller here tonight too. They're following me into 2026. But no, I look forward to seeing how both Scott and Greg do it tonight. It's great to see them both up the top end of town as well. But Kane Ryder with those lap times, is anyone going to be able to challenge him at this stage? Because if he starts to build a lead and gets out of tow range, I don't know if they're going to be able to hang with him or chase him down.
Just remember at the end of the day too, there's you still got those puddles of death essentially out there that can cause you an issue. But ultimate concentration, you've got to make it through the roof in an endurance race. So you might have the pace, but you can easily make a mistake, and all of a sudden you're back into the heels of the rest of these drivers, these gladiators, these brave souls tackling on the mountain. That's the situation, mate. So once again, it's all about just keeping your head cool. And look at this little gaggle of cars starting to form behind Greggy here in P3.
Yeah, we can see Owen Coleman starting to put some pressure on him as well, with James Mason, who appears to have sorted out his blinking issues that he was having a little bit earlier on in the race. I think now that everyone's just started to spread out, it's gotten a little bit better for James out there. We were having some issues last week with the amount of cars that are out there in terms of some blinking for the replay PC of Mr. J. Kennedy when we were doing the Open Series. But across the first 5 laps of this race, well, Kane Ryder is yet to be beaten on an average lap time. 205.54 is his average. Ranking in P2, 205.76. Ironically, the top 5 are the 5 fastest drivers on track across the first 5 laps. It just proves to me, Dean, that they deserve to be where they are off the basis of qualifying here tonight.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Just reading through the chat as well too. We have Kirk from the Project 36. I've seen them a lot in across the different racing leagues. The Project 36 crew. I'm surprised they're not out in the chat there as well too. supporting on Kirk Chapman at the moment on the back there with Matt Webber. It's the battle for 7th and 8th in the pitches. Now, how far, I wanted to ask you, there, Hamish, like, are they going to go on their tanks before you're going to see that first round of pit stops?
It'll be about the half an hour mark, I would say, Dean, assuming that they keep the same fuel level that they had last week. They were roughly running into between 25 minutes and half an hour. Was the fuel limitations of last week's race. So I'm going to assume that's what they've kept it at as well. Even with the limited series tonight, obviously, I believe fixed setup, so I could be wrong because it is a limited series. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it might just be limited because of the iRating levels. So, but for Kurt Chapman, in his new outfit of ARTT Revolution eRacing, he hasn't changed his team name on SDK just yet, but he has changed teams. A sister team of Project 36, if you will. Those guys have got a working relationship amongst it out there. As there is a car with a meatball flag at the moment, and it is Richard Mayer who's just crossing the chase at this stage. That Merc is not happy, as he's going to have to bring the Sud Speed entry into pit lane, and hopefully he can get it sorted, hopefully he can get it in. But I have a feeling he may have made a mistake down the straight, and that's what's caused his meatball to flare up.
Somebody moving off the side of the track as well, too, to get completely out of the way of some of these drivers going through. So going back to the situation, we've got Gavin Simpson here. He's second in class, and he's hot on the heels there of Ben. So that is in the Challenger class for these two drivers at the moment. So that's absolutely fantastic to see them going for it too. For now, back there in 23rd and 24th place, but of course there's that slow.
I don't understand. That is Richard Mayer, who had his meatball. I don't understand how he got it though coming down the hill. Oh, his front wheel's disconnected. That looks like his front wheel is disconnected as he's actually come down the straight, and that's what's given him the meatball. That is a very, very weird moment for Richard Mayer out there, who's just exiting pit lane now. So he's got that car fixed up. He's pushing on once again. Just trying to keep himself in line and in check too. And, for the front runner, Kane Ryder, well, what more can we say? This is, it's dominance personified right now. He's nearly out to a second gap, but Rankin's hanging with him, who's now got a 1.4 second gap back to P3 and Greg Barber of OPR.
Gavin's had a big smash into the Simpson into the fence.
And I wonder if that there is a... Careful. Oh, no, watch the rejoin, Gavin. And I wonder if that is a victimology of the... Not curb of death this time, but the puddle of death for Gavin Simpson at the top of the hill. Car's looking poorly. You'll need to get that in pit lane. No meatball on it, though, so he could keep pushing on, but how much is that going to affect his straight line speed? This is how it happens. So, following in behind Ben Wilkes at the top of the hill, battling for P1 in the Challenger class. Got it loose at McPhillamy, and in fact, he lost it well before. Oh my God, nearly rolled it up there in the sand trap and into the barrier. He got that thing real loose off of Sulman Park, Dean, and as he entered McPhillamy, the rear end just comes round, and not much more he could do to try and save that.
Wow, yeah. Almost flipped it completely, as we're going to see a nice little battle here between Nathan Hodges there and Stephen Tonkin. That's the battle for 10th and 11th on your pitches. Pitcher. Oh, you do have pitches and pitches as well, too, of course. Yeah, pitcher and pitcher there. PB9. 25-second penalty for car 640. That's Trisha McLaren on lap 4 for causing an incident.
Well, that's what he wants to be hearing at this stage. The 640 car, so... Ironically, driving a Mercedes is Tristan McLaren. I feel like he deserves another 20-second penalty for not driving the car of his namesake, Dean.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on there, Tristan?
Just not good enough, to be honest with you. But, for Mr. Kane Ryder, he's driving an exceptional job right now. Actually, Scott Rankin's started to catch up to him. Scotty's actually making time on him at this stage.
Even though Kane just had the fastest lap, again, on the last lap.
Yeah, another fast lap of the race, but Rankin's going with him. 204.38 the last lap. It was only 1/10 slower than Kane Ryder's last lap time, but Greg Barber is feeling the pressure at this stage with Owen Coleman all over the back of him in the Mustang. James Mason P5 as well. Not many drivers have dropped outside of the top 10 here this evening. In fact, none of them have. The top 10 are all still within it. but there has been changing of positions between them, with Tonkin down 2 at the moment, Webber down 1, McCrowan down 1, Coleman down 1, and then Barber, Mason, Chapman's up 2, but Barber, Mason and Trott all up 1 position, top 2 unchanged at this stage of the race.
And there you go, Scotty just sets the fastest lap on that one, so they're now starting to exchange it. The gap is about 1.2 between them.
Now that those tyres have started to come up to temperature for that Corvette, all of a sudden the rocket ship is released, and all of a sudden that car is in its groove. And it seems that Rankin's in his groove as well, and the car's just started to switch on to its absolute maximum. And for what James Mason's hoping for tonight on board that BMW is, well, he wants to try and continue this good run. Sitting at the moment P5, that's a good position to be at this point. Doesn't need to push on for a podium just yet. Just needs to keep the top 3 in his line of sight at this stage, Dean. I mean, just has to hold on to them. Of course, we can see our class breakdowns there. Down at the bottom is our safety car driver, Tim Lawson. We didn't see that safety car last time out in the Open Series on track in physical wares, but we may see it here this evening. But at the moment, 15 minutes, Dean, no safety cars. I think we've done a pretty good job to 15 minutes of green racing.
Absolutely solid, Pat. I'm tipping my hat at the moment to these drivers. Fantastic work, especially for the first race of the season. A lot of these drivers aren't used to each other. They're coming in fresh at the off-season. They don't know how it's going to pan out. You stack up 50-odd cars on a field in Bathurst, and then you say, go, as fast as you can. And surprisingly enough, they have, and they've managed to have the respect for each other, and they've managed to, essentially, a lot of them keep it out of the fence, which is great. So we have no track blockers, no need for that safety car driver to come out there and restack and re-rack them. Just green flag racing is exactly what we want to see.
Well, every driver is looking to push on nice and tidily at this stage, and again, just settling into their grooves. And all we've seen thus far tonight is, realistically, aside from one incident that we don't even know happened, apart from the penalty that came out of it, we've really only seen self-made mistakes tonight thus far, Dean. I mean, the Porsche of Gavin at the top of the hill, Gavin Simpson, who put it into the wall up there, that was a self-made mistake. Everything else really has just been nice and tidy, and everyone's ready to push on to the next portion of this race. I don't think they necessarily want a safety car just yet, even though it would save them fuel and would actually help them complete a 3-stopper here tonight instead of a 4-stopper. I think they just want to push on at this stage and try and get themselves a solid finish. Although, as I say that, there's multiple cars running wide at turn 1. Luckily, none of them getting into the wall, but the limits of grip are starting to be pushed here, Dean.
Yeah, there you go. Picture in picture, you can see that nice little battle brewing as well, too. I'm not sure what that position is. There we go. We still got James Mason, unfortunately, blinking every once in a while. He's just behind this pack that we're seeing at the moment. That's Coleman and Barber. They've been at it too for now. Kane's still leading this race by about 1.2 seconds over Scotty. If I'm not mistaken, actually half a second now over Scotty. My apologies, the other way around. So Scotty's be keeping him honest, but there's the hornet's nest, as you can see, brewing up there in the picture-in-picture.
Really starting to brew now. Brock Caddy's just got an all-time outside run on Alfonso Latea, and he managed to pull the position off the exit of the cutting, and now gets into P13 on the road and is now released to try and chase down Vinny Nguyen of Frog Leap Juice Racing ahead of him as he starts the descent back down the hill through the S's and down through the Dipper. Gap's 1.3 seconds, could very quickly chase that down. And if the top 3, or the top 3 battle, I should say, of little triple threat cars of Barber, Coleman and Mason amongst that top 5, if they start to battle, everyone's going to start to get stacked up. And things are going to get heated for them as well, with a 15-second time penalty coming for car 180 in Jason Adams for a contact on lap 6, causing an incident. Look at that. Scott Rankin is now the average fastest driver on track for the last 5 laps by 1/100th of a second. Barely anything between Rankin and Ryder at this stage.
That's actually pretty impressive at the moment as well. And keep an eye on Coleman. He's the one that's right behind Greg here. Greg's not even in that list, is he? There he is. He is now. After this lap, he's had to pick it up, hasn't he? Because he's got some pressure from behind of those 2 drivers and the number 97 and the 777 as well. Because Coleman did set the fastest first sector as well, 2 seconds. Really got some speed by Greg, but once in the catch, it's another thing to overtake here in Bathurst. Answer your question out there. Well, I get Hamish will answer that one now. Can somebody explain the classes and how they are set for everybody under 3K iRacing?
From my understanding, I believe the Challenger class is set as, Brent Tucker's just had a moment for TriStar Racing at the final corner. Oh my god, please watch the rejoin, Brent. Okay, luckily he didn't pull out in front of anyone. So from my understanding, looking at the list, the people who are in Challenger class are less than 2.5k. There are a couple of elite class drivers who are under that, Ed Adcock and Kurt Chapman. I believe both are, and Alex Tzidkas has been put in elite class as well. Alex is new, so I'm not sure why he's been put in elite class, but I know for Kurt, he was very, very good in Challenger class last season. And then for Adcock, he actually held his own amongst the elites as well. So I think both those guys have maybe more earned their positions up there. But aside from that, that's definitely something that I think I should definitely be asking them actually of how they actually dictate their classes, because I'm unsure, to be honest with you, completely to concrete evidence of how they decide them. But I think it's definitely something that can be answered for us, as Andrew Neil has gone off up at McPhillamy Park. That car is absolutely cooked, and this could be an early safety car, Dean.
Yeah, if they can't relieve that truck. Relieve that truck.
The only excuse for not having a safety car right now is the fact he's actually right next to the escape road. So they may let him go because he is right next to the escape road. So we wait to see. He is allowed to tow back to pit lane. This is how it happened for Andrew Neil. Oh my God.
That was a
massive contact into the, right on the grate, right into the wall. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, he did well to reverse that thing back. My God. Lamborghinis are known to be one of the worst cars to try and reverse park in, and he's just done an absolute blunder of an effort. It's broken at the same time. And Brock Caddy's had to come into pit lane to fix his car because he had nowhere to go in that scenario and actually made contact with Neil. So that's why Caddy has had to bring his car into pit lane at this stage of the race. So I'm just noticing my point I made about being... I'm noticing as well, the more I look at the elite class, the more drivers that see that are under 2.5k, so I don't think it is 2.5k. I'm not 100% sure how they said it.
Perhaps we'll get somebody out there and, let us know there, and from one of the administrators of this fantastic racing league here, the Premier Endurance League, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Keep those questions coming, of course. We do engage with the audience. We like to read your comments. We like to follow it. There's no further action for car 89 for Jonathan on lap 9. For causing an incident. So that's the situation. But no safety car there. They allowed the car to tow. They deemed it was safe enough to get a rejoin. So no rejoin, of course, to get the tow truck out there, get craning up on the back of the truck and tow it back to pit road.
Take it onto the escape road and simply drive it back down the hill. And that there was probably one of the best spots you could have crashed on the top of the hill if you were going to, for a quick descent back down and into pit lane there for Andrew Neil. I believe that was a Whiskey Business Racing, who will be completing his tow momentarily and completing his fast repair as well to get that car back out on the road here tonight as well. We've got one car that's out of this race. Nigel Seidel barely did 3 laps and is out this evening.
Oh, Nigel.
As he's not really had anything happening for him tonight, as Jacob Hughes Ackerts has gone round up at Skyline in the Riot Sim Racing BMW. That car is not going anywhere, and I think he's maybe waiting. Oh, it's not a BMW, sorry, it's the Mustang. Do apologise. He's either waiting for traffic or he can't move that.
Yeah,
he's in reverse.
Spot. Oh, he's off the racing line a little bit. So James is still blinking a little bit, so it's a little confusing to see him on the pictures, but you can keep an eye on that, the picture-in-picture. That'll be very interesting, because we'll go to Kane. Kane's going to be approaching the scene of this crime pretty soon, isn't he? In fact, he's got a bit of lap car, traffic up the road. This is our race leader we're riding on board with. Going to be coming to the scene of the crime very soon.
Well, for Jacob Hughes, I believe he's waiting for a tow, because this is probably the unsafest position someone could ever hope to be in. At the top, there are cars coming into pit lane, and I believe the safety car is about to exit pit road because Tim Lawson is on board.
There it is. Yeah, you got it. There's 2 cars there.
Yep, 2 cars. Two cars up at Skyline. He's parked at the end of pit lane. So Tim Lawson is waiting to pick up the race leader, Kane Ryder, who's only just coming up to Forest Elbow now. So Okay, so Logan Murphy has claimed that he believes the classes are set from lap times in an official practice session. So a bit of a pre-qualifying situation there for drivers to get involved. So for Tim Lawson, he'll wait. The race leaders will have to come into pit lane. The biggest thing now, Dean, is for those exiting pit lane, they've got to push like nothing else matters at this stage. They've got to push like it's green, like it's a double green. They've got to try and push as hard as possible because they want to try and catch the front runners who have managed to do an extra green lap. And knowing the fact that they were held up a little bit from that traffic filtration across the top, and of course with the car that was parked up at Skyline 2 with Jacob Hughes down there. So Kane Ryder in, race leader in, Rankin, Coleman, Barber, everyone's in the top 10. Latea in. We expect everyone to enter pit lane. Anyone who doesn't could be throwing something away here tonight. They've got to come in now because we're close enough to the point of regular pit stop time. And you may as well come in and get that car topped up, ready to push on for the next stint in a perfect quarter-way safety car, which is looking very similar, Dean, to last week in the Open Series. We were getting safety cars at each quarter. Hopefully that's not a very similar scenario here tonight.
That's right. You mentioned it was going to probably stretch to about 30 minutes. You said that they were going to be scheduled to come in. So, of course, when the safety car comes out at that point, you've got to take that opportunity for a cheap free pit stop, essentially. Kane will come in and out, essentially, back into this one. Scotty dropped a couple of places in that pit stop.
Yeah, he's taking a little bit of extra fuel, so I have to wonder if either these guys have taken a lap less, knowing that they're now under pace car, or if Scott's actually using more fuel in that Corvette. He's either using more than they are, or again, he just hasn't taken a lap less, because Daniel McCrowan, who's also in a Corvette as well, he has taken an 18.5 second stop. So Scotty's actually overextended his stop time there. Interestingly enough, Dean Reddit has not come into pit lane, up now 17 positions into P5. Maybe he believes he can go a little bit longer and maybe get some gain out of this. But I think the problem for Dean is if it stays green, he may well get buried to the back of the field by not coming into pit lane. Same for Travis as a party for Whiskey Business Racing as well.
There it is at the moment. So your last pit stop for the 12 drivers, you can see 2 of them yet to go down the pit road. It can be a bit punishing, of course, if we continue to go green flag racing, but safety cars do breed safety cars, especially if we get track blockers here in Bathurst. What's interesting as well, too, is we're going to see if they're thinking to allow those lap cars to get past the pace car, my friend. So, because as you can see, Kane's got a couple of them up the road, or in fact, they're just going to continue to go with that.
They may just cleanse the field slightly. There's only 2 cars there, so they may just let them go down the straight, I would say. They won't want them in the way of the race leader, of course, off this restart, especially because of lap time differential between them. I'm just doing a bit of a search here to try and find Jacob Hughes' incident. I have found it, so I'll be able to get it up and ready whenever we're ready to go, just so we can see how he ended up stuck up at turn 2 earlier on up at Skyline, in this race. And ultimately, it was a wild moment for him as he came across Skyline. So he actually got loose. I'm just watching him back now, Dean. He actually got loose on that puddle of death.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he's actually backed it in. So I'll put it back again for us just so we can see here. So he comes through McPhillamy, and as he comes across the road, watch for the splash and watch for the wiggle. Catches the water, rear end gets real loose, massive tank slapper, straight in the wall. And unfortunately, that car is not under control and it's parked up right there. So an unfortunate moment for Packets Hughes for the Sim Racing in Focus podcast and Riot Sim Racing as well. And look at how close some of those cars were getting across the top of the hill when they were coming over the crest there, and they realised there's a Mustang facing the wrong way.
This is why you're never safe at Bathurst, regardless of where you are. That incident can occur just up the road there from Kane Ryder, our race leader. You know, he can build himself a 10-second gap up there. All of a sudden, arrive to a scene of a crime like that, has to avoid it, can get damaged himself, and all of a sudden you're going from the penthouse to the outhouse. So that's just Bathurst for you, isn't it? It's just the nature of the beast, and there's not too much you can do about it. And drivers, of course, when they have these incidents, aren't expecting to try to take anybody else out. It's just it's a track blocker. It's in difficult and dangerous situations. And until, of course, race control can have a look at it and then make a decision to bring a safety car out, there's not too much that they can really do, isn't it? It could be a little bit day late, dollar short scenario for some of the other drivers.
Had a blink once again from James Mason. Got Rankin here tonight. What can he do for the rest of this race? Well, we know he's had good pace early on in this car. Question is he able now to push on and try and make the most of the end of this race? And I think if any of them are going to take tyres tonight, Dean, just in terms of strategy, want to be taking it at that hour marker, really cut the race in half, cut your strategy in half as well. Reddit's finally into pit lane,
he has to come in,
but unfortunately for him, I think he's going to drop spots now because the whole field is stacked up. They've been re-racked and re-stacked, and he's going to have to sit there for at least 18 seconds to fill that car with fuel. Maybe the bonus is he was able to save under the initial running under safety car. Might be able to take a couple seconds less, but ultimately it's still going to be a big loss for him in terms of positions. And
a high position as well, too, to drop. So usually you gamble like that a little bit further back in the field, isn't it? Because you're like, okay, well, I ain't got too much to gain if I'm running like P37 or something like that. I'll just try a completely different strategy and see it pans out later on. But if you're in the top 10, something like that, you wouldn't generally gamble. Look at them weaving to try and get temperature in the tyres there.
The ultimate thing is, Dean, so I did some laps the other day in the BMW M3, in the M4 GT3 car, and the biggest issue that car had for me in my first few laps around here was cold tyres. The thing feels like it's on absolute ice skates. It does not want to pull up. So the main thing now for these drivers is get the temperature in the tyres. The problem is the tyres take around about 3 laps to get really peak temperatures into the tyres. That's when they're then going to be under most grip, and obviously that's where the lap time's going to come. So everyone's going to be working these tyres. Wouldn't be surprised if drivers are going to be trying to work the brakes as well. Probably just across the top of the mountain, they might just be sitting full throttle with a bit of brake applied just to try and put some heat into the brakes as well in preparation for the restart. But yeah, just trying to work these tyres as much as they can, get the heat into them, and try and push on, throughout the rest of this race. To our biggest movers at this stage, Bradley Hudswell up 26 positions, I believe it is. They're into P26, so that's a great effort from him here tonight. Has moved up the amount of positions that he's currently positioned in. Yeah. Travis has a party up 23. He does need a pit stop, though, so that will change. Jason Adams up 21. Jesse McMenamin up 13. Brendan Purcell up 10 at this stage as well. So some double-digit movers back there throughout the field. And right now, the pressure's about to rise up once again as we get ready for green flag racing at Mount Panorama. And let us know in the chat, are you heading out to the mountain next weekend? Bathurst 12 hours coming up, of course, Valentine's Day weekend. So if your true love is Bathurst, be sure to take yourself some roses with you to give to the old mountain.
Take your missus there and say, hey, love, I mean, don't you like a bit of motor racing? You
know what? If your missus likes motor racing, what a better Valentine's Day could you spend than being there for 12-hour qualifying? That would be a great opportunity for those out there, maybe the rare and the few, who would like to go to Bathurst for Valentine's Day. But yeah, it's it's a weekend of. Are you too busy? I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not heading there. No, I'm too busy. So yeah, everyone who is going out to Bathurst, hope you do have a great time next weekend and enjoy the process as well. Jacob is in the chat asking, when is there going to be an IMSA endurance series for us multi-class racing fans? Well, I've not heard any whispers from Pell, perhaps, but I do know a certain league admin who likes to commentate races for Pell. Jake knows who it is. Maybe if there's enough interest, we could maybe bring a. Maybe we could bring Rick. Leith and Rick.
Chuck a couple of classes in there. Let's go, Formula One, IndyCar. Let's do Super Formulas. Let's do.
Hey, you know what? I really want the opportunity, Dean, to call an IndyCar series. I've never gotten to.
Oh, you never got an IndyCar series?
No, I've never gotten to. I love I love IndyCar though. That Indy Next car is one of the nicest looking cars on the iRacing service now. So I'd love to call an Indy Next series. I call so much NASCAR stuff. It's just like, give me open wheel oval, please.
Lee Diffie used to, and then he switched over to NASCAR. I guess there's a lot more viewing audience as well too, over in that neck of the woods. So but they just started their series, I believe, for in the official iRacing IndyCar series.
They did indeed.
Yeah.
I think as well the Road to Pro starts this week as well. Obviously, the real life NASCAR series started recently with a Clash last Thursday.
Bit of a joke that race was.
Yeah, Daytona, the Clash always is. Come on. They used to have it at LA Coliseum, for crying out loud. Dan Yeoman in the chat asking, is the pit graphic with the stop column meant to indicate what everyone did in their pit stop? It is meant to indicate that. That's based on a calculation of how quickly tyres can be taken in pit lane, Dan. So that is...
it is a calculation only, yeah, because unfortunately iRacing does not give us that information, so we guesstimate it with some fancy tools in the background. Let's go racing. Hamish, again.
Go racing. Green flag once again as we rise to the mountain, and Steve Tonkin has immediately gone round at turn 1. The McLaren is off the road after contact. And wow, oh wow, early time for Tonkin to go off. And he has dropped bog positions, now down 23, could be down 25 by the end of Mountain Straight. My God, what an early moment off the restart. You just come out of pit lane, and now the car is trying to retrieve positions that you did not want to have to give up.
Yeah, good catch on that one. Nothing gets past Hamish. That's why we got the pitch-in-pitch as well, too. We can try to capture as much action as we can. There's a Fuming at the front there, Mason on the back. Looks like Nugent has hit the fence somewhere.
Yep, that is up just before Reed Park. So that car has gone up wide up there into the wall. And now everyone's streamlined past him. My God, barely avoiding contacts made. That car's stuck there. And now the evasive action of the whole field has to try and perfect their run to not hit him. And if they don't know he's there, Dean, this could end in catastrophe. As Kurt Chapman now off at the S's as well. It's starting to go off.
It is. Well, they've said cars breed safety cars. Are they going to call that with 2 essential track blockers out there at the moment? I think, is he okay to turn around?
Richard Mayer as well. Richard Mayer as well is stuck down there. So that car's now trapped at the top of the hill. He's trying to get that thing turned around. So there has been bulk, and I mean bulk, carnage at the top end of the hill. Cars having to go everywhere. And my God, what a moment for this race. And the question then beckons...
Yeah, they're bringing... I think Tim's coming out again. Yes, they have to call it. They have to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, multiple cars are trapped up there. Absolute drama.
So where did we start? I'm going to go back and have a look at...
Well, it all starts with Stephen Tonkin down at turn 1. So that was the first one that ultimately brought the carnage out with us. So he comes through turn 1. He had one of the OPR Mustangs behind him. That might have been John Trott, I think. But that looks like netcode. That looks like netcode to me almost, Dean. The way that it's been pushed, I don't think John really had anywhere to go, honestly. So he may have just begun to lose it, and then netcode contacts made possibly as well. But yeah, that's a lot of time lost. And then Vinny Nguyen up at the cutting and in towards. This is actually Silver Park up here. Reed Park's further along, so it's actually going slow. And then I wonder if he had a screen or VR freeze. Perhaps
that looks exactly like that. You wouldn't do that at that speed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Vinny, I mean, you don't just drive into the fence like that. And this is an incident there with Kirk Chapman.
Yeah, that's Kurt Chapman. So another victim of the puddle of death, and that Porsche, a wild ride over Skyline.
The racing line by flicking him back there. That's a hats off to him on that one, if that was intentional or not.
That's not what he would have wanted at this stage. So just trying to get the car back up and running again. And then this was Matt Webber as well. So a couple of incidents up here, just into the back of Ben Wilkes. He managed to pull it up somehow, but the car went round, and cars oncoming, nowhere to go. Actually, they'll probably saved by the fact that the puddle managed to shoot the rear end around.
Oh, yeah, and there's the puddles as drivers see the reaction to that as well. And there's the track blocker, but essentially everybody does wires it up, and at some point you might be on the horn there with your teams, especially if you're a spotter, and you just go slow at the top, just get ready. You don't want to be damaging your car, and that's the situation. So that was majority of the traffic, the incidents that just occurred for our second safety car here this evening there. Mr. Hamish.
Not too far off the back of the last safety car, of course. Almost immediately. This is great for the fuel save, though, for these cars. This will offset them just slightly. And again, the more safety cars we have, the less likely we're going to need 4 stops tonight. May mean we get only 3 in this race. Ben Wilkes at the moment still leading the Challenger class here this evening as well, which is great to see from him. And those last few pit stops, well, there have been some long ones, including Jacob Hughes, who was in pit lane for 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes. He's now gotten that car back up and running once again. Now, 2 minutes at that time would have been for the tow back from the top of the mountain as well. But yeah, some big wrench wranglers, as it's titled, of course. Big incidents that have already been happening, and a lot of big pit stops happening as well. But yeah, Ben Wilkes leads for the Challenger class at this stage. Kane Ryder leading the way for the elite class at the moment as well, as we are currently under Sud Speed Gloves safety car for the second time here tonight as well. And if you're looking to get yourself some gloves for sim racing, Sud Speed's got you covered. www.sudspeed.com for some premium sim racing gloves for sim racers, made by sim racers as well. We also want to give a quick shout out to some of our minor sponsors of the series, of course, too. Kibby Graphics for some branded clothing, car wraps, and commercial graphics as well. Head over to kibbygraphics.com.au, and to the Sim Racing in Focus podcast. Of course, still focused on sim racing. You find them over on facebook.com/Sim Racing in Focus. They've been really heating up their episodes once again as of late. In fact, only a few episodes ago, they had last week's winner of the Open Series in the podcast with them as part of one of their more recent episodes, as they chatted to I'm trying to find the driver's name now as well, and now I can't find it. Thanks so much. Oh, well, they chatted to Damon Woods a few weeks ago as well. That's who I was thinking of. That's my mistake. Also chatted to Brenton O'Brien. Obviously, there was some big news coming out of Australian sim racing land with the Pro Porsche Invitational Series coming our way from ASRG next season as well. It's very exciting times. That's all starting up on the 1st of April over at the Hockenheim Ring for those Porsche Cup fans as well. It's a great time to be a Porsche Cup fan, Dean. Many series are running the Porsche Cup at this stage.
Absolutely.
Get so much of it. And for this series, ultimately, for Pell and for what is a brilliant calendar, we've still got Adelaide to come, Road America, Le Mans, and Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as well to end it all out. So 5 spectacular circuits to go racing at. Knowing the carnage we've had at Bathurst this week, well, get your popcorn ready for Adelaide next time out. That is going to be one to watch. The Road America 2, Le Mans, of course, fast-paced. Long runs are going to be crucial. And Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, it's survival of those who can make it through Eau Rouge and Radillon. And even Blanchimont as well.
What do you think of the Adelaide since it's been added to the iRacing?
I think it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Have you driven it?
I will say that. I've attempted a lap, Dean.
Right.
Hit the wall a couple of times.
I mean, the wall hit you, yeah.
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 Might take me a couple of laps just to get up to speed at Adelaide.
What about that for the chat as well? I want to ask everybody else there, if anybody has, it's a recent addition, of course, late last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, what's your thoughts there on the new Adelaide track? I love the corner of the curb of death, isn't it, essentially, isn't it?
It is.
We'll just murder your car immediately if you get it all wrong.
Yeah, there's quite a few out of Adelaide next week. Obviously, the chicane at Turn 1, 2, Turn 3 as well. Turn 9 in the fast running kink, and then down at the roundabout as well at Turn 10. Those corners are going to be ones to watch next time out. We go racing at Adelaide Street Circuit once again. But as we prepare ourselves for another green flag run here tonight, everyone prepares themselves to push on and push forward for the next hour and 15 minutes as well. And for the elite class, Kane Ryder, well, he wants to continue to lead this race. He's led every single lap to this point. For Ben Wilkes, he wants to continue to lead the Challenger class here tonight and try and push on to hopefully a Challenger class win. It'd be a great way to start his campaign this season. And what better way could you start it by winning it out of Bathurst? That'd be a proud moment for Ben as amongst that Challenger field, and a proud moment for Kane as well, who'll be hoping start his season off strong with a race-winning performance here tonight at Mount Panorama. As the safety car will look to come into pit lane momentarily, Kane Ryder will get control of the field when it does happen. And for everyone pushing forward, everyone is looking to stay clean, stay consistent, and get themselves to pit lane. As Kane Ryder is well prepared for this race start. Warms up those tyres, of course. And wants to try and hold back the Orbit drop bear car of Scott Rankin a few positions behind, who's been matching him for pace tonight. Ultimately, though, the two challengers behind him, Alan Coleman and James Mason, they're going to put him to the sword very early here, Dean, off this restart zone.
Absolutely looking forward to this restart. Let's see if we can get a little bit of green flag racing now. We only had essentially about 4 or so laps before we had another caution come out there. Kept a bit of a chatter out there. The ex-teammate constantly staying in his pants while Kurt was spiralling down the dipper. Love Radelaide there from the Junior Nitro Junkie. And what is $120 out there for Renault? Yeah,
someone has said $120 entry F off, so I don't understand what they're meaning by that, what they're referencing as $120, because I don't believe Pell is $120, Dean. It's, I don't know. I haven't paid entry, I'm not driving, so I couldn't tell you. But for Kane Ryder, he prepares himself for one all-time restart as everyone will prepare to cross that start-finish line in an ultimate race starting position here. Under safety car, we've been twice over now over the last 25 minutes. We look for a green flag run again. And can we survive into the next hour? Or are we going to find that Aston Martin safety car back out on track once again? Green flag at Mount Panorama with Kane Ryder leading us through towards turn 1. Everyone else follows in suit behind, with Coleman and Mason and Rankin trying to follow him up the hill. And as everyone gets their next lap started, and it is maximum pressure time here tonight as there's a car off in the background. That was Jason Adams. A massive moment for Jason Adams. Picture perfect representation of the moment for Stephen Tonkin off the last safety car restart, Dean. Hopefully, it's not going to be a repeat of the last green flag lap that we saw.
Oh, absolutely fantastic racing going on up at the mountain at the moment. As you saw, one victim already. While the mountain claims lots of victims, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why it's an endurance race. That's why you have to conquer the mountain. As Kane Ryder still leading there from Coleman, Mason, and Scotty trying to put a bit of pressure at the moment on Mason. As they're trying to make some moves and gains currently at the moment, but they just haven't had enough green flag racing. Got to get the temperature up in those tyres too. Bit of spray still continuing from a lot of those puddles that are still remaining on this track from that earlier shower. Hamish.
Yep, so the puddles remain, the spray remains as well, but the pressure remains the same. Down towards Forest Elbow we go, and Rankin's putting all sorts of pressure here on James Mason. There's been a 15-second penalty going the way of Daniel Fritz, as there are a couple of cars who've had a moment up at McPhillamy Park, including Sean Benici, who is off the road up there. Cars are going slow across the top of the mountain because I believe there's somebody, it might be Greg Heaney. So two Whiskey Business Racing cars have gone off up at McPhillamy Park. And I have to wonder if they tried to go visit the grave of their teammate Andrew Neal, who crashed up there earlier in the night.
That'll be the exact code. That's the puddle of death again that you called earlier. There it is. There's already an accident.
It's not. So one of those Frog Leap Juice racing cars, multiple cars are piled in. This is a massive incident. Greg Barber is coming back in pit lane. I don't hate the strategy call here of Barb's. Come in, freshen up some fuel. Although he's actually missing a rear wing, so that's why he's coming into pit lane. This was Jason Adams at turn 1 off the restart. So round he goes. And into the barrier he goes as well, as I think Bradley Hudswell is off at turn 1 as well on board the Audi. This was Jesse McMenamin's moment up at the top. Got it loose through Reed Park and into the barrier just before the grate. Backed it back in. There was no holding brakes there, but I don't know if it actually would have done very much because ABS probably was actually stopping them from locking. And that there has caused an almighty incident up there for multiple cars. This is a mess at the top of the hill. I don't know if race control, though, will be wanting to call the safety car because it might. We're just going to get into the process of compacting the field once again. And, you know, when that happens, we're just going to be in the scenario over and over again of them getting piled into each other as the spray continues to get thrown up at McPhillamy Park just before Skyline.
And it's been cleared enough, so you've got to deem it whether or not, you know, the track is not blocked enough so that these front runners that can come around and put another lap on that situation. If it's cleared by then, you'd have to say green flag racing, go. once again, as you said, if you do call another caution, you'll re-rack and restack them, and that'll dramatically increase your odds of having another safety car out there tonight. And, you know, there's a certain limit of, we don't mind a safety car every once in a while to spice things up, but too many of them, it turns into a NASCAR race.
Again, I agree. I think that's often the biggest issue with some NASCAR racing, Dean, is it's caution after caution, so they never actually get a chance to get back under green.
I broadcasted one of about 20 the other day, and it's just like, enough is enough, okay?
Yeah.
And even in real life, they just have so many of them too.
So, yeah, but for Brock Caddy, he sits currently P7 on the road, putting some pressure now on John Trott just ahead of him. John, very consistent last season in terms of making positions up in a race and actually sneaking some quality finishes as well, including some podiums here or there throughout the season. Was up and amongst the top few in terms of the championship standings off the back end of season 6. He'll be hoping now to go a little bit better this season and try and win the championship for One Performance Racing. His teammate, of course, Greg Barber, was hoping to do the same and start that off here tonight, but he's been in pit lane fixing that car. He'll have a bit of work to do towards the end of this one to try and climb back up the positions and get back up the order, as we are only 10 minutes away from the hour changeover, with Jesse Butler making a move up the inside for P10.
Oh, it's coming back,
past Luke King, but King's coming back at him. He says, you want the crown, you got to rip it off my dead head. And for Butler, well, he served him up well, and he's taken that position, and into the top 10 goes the HTS Racing Porsche. The Whiskey business car of Luke King is just trying to keep himself going. And, as I said, no further action for Jesse McMenamin. And again, I think that was an ABS issue, Dean. Holding brakes. Holding brakes can only do so much. When ABS, gets applied, the brakes are not going to lock. The car's going to roll back on the track. Not much more he can do.
How long does that puddle take to clear? We've had dry conditions this whole race, and it's still there. You think we need to add some drainage there, boys? We get no drain pipes that come up and suck into the bottom of the car like they have in Las Vegas. We can do it properly. But it's getting spicy and dicey at the front too, my friend. Those top three are really getting up there. Kane Ryder probably has had one of the closest competition he's least, closest challenge that he has, not challenger class, of course, in the elite class, but closest racing challenge from Owen Coleman in this race so far. Coleman's taking a sniff, mate.
Oh, I wonder if Kane is just trying to save some fuel at this point. Save a little bit of fuel, try and offset the strategy once again, and push that car to maybe trying to force it out to maybe an hour and 10 minutes as well. We had a question in chat earlier on. How's PJ Whiteman doing? He's currently sitting back in P48. Not doing the greatest at this stage, unfortunately for him. We have got a close battle, though, at this stage with Stephen Tonkin. Chris Ruddle is just in behind him as they run in towards the chase too. So there's close battles all around the field, but for that top two battle, it is becoming a one-on-one as James Mason has now dropped out just over a second off the back of Owen Coleman's Mustang, who continues to put pressure on Kane Ryder up the hill. And on the bottom screen, we have got Steve Tonkin being pressurised here by Chris Ruddle and Brent Tucker, with a couple of other drivers in behind them as well. And I'm trying to find a certain driver out there, and I've just found him, Dean. This man right here, as he comes up over the hill. Previously used to run around pit lane for us, is now running around the circuit.
Is that Pete?
Mr. Baxter.
Yes.
P2 in the Challenger class tonight,
Wow.
up 17 positions at the moment.
Good job there. You can see currently P19 under the green there in the timing tower. That's Pete Baxter. That's the man. If you did tune in, of course, to the other Open Series as well too of this Premier Endurance Racing Series, you'll hear Pete give his feedback from the pit lane. Now he's out there showing you that he's a man that knows what he's talking about when it comes to racing.
He has said we can drag him in at some point tonight as well, so maybe if we get another safety car, we might drag him in for a chat under the safety car at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
The Project 36 fan out there is asking, is Chapo still circulating? He is at this stage. Brendan, he's P53 at the moment. He's about nearly 6 minutes down on the race lead, so a couple of laps down on the race lead at this stage, unfortunately for Kurt. But any amount of safety cars could get him back into things for sure. Once again, no further action again on the Packets-Hughes incident too. As that there, I believe, is McMenamin just having to go slow down the hill. As Brant Tucker, oh my God, there's a track jam up at the dipper.
Wow.
There is a track jam up at the dipper. Is that Greg Barber? It is Greg Barber who's been caught up in that. So we've already seen him come down pit lane tonight to get that rear wing back on that car. Brant Tucker that car's destroyed. This will be a safety car for sure, Dean, because that car's in a very horrible position, and there's no way he can drive that thing back to pit road.
No. We'll go back and have a look at the replay, and you get the live picture and pictures on that one. Was it with Greg? And
I believe he's actually lost it on his own, possibly. So he's come down the dipper, lost the rear, and around it's gone. So it was just a horrible incident. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
he's been allowed to turn back to pit lane, so there's no safety car. No safety car called at this stage. But you see there, he held brakes, did everything he should have done. And as he went to go again, he's just moved out of the way. And I think someone... No. Well, unfortunately... There was really nowhere for Greg to go. He had a car on his outside. He's expecting he's expecting the inside line to be clear, and unfortunately, there's a Mustang in his way, being a road blockage. So that's unfortunate for all those drivers involved in that one.
And this is on board with Christian. Well, he's going to see this incident up the road, and he's going to be like, okay, not too much you can do in the blind spots here. Like, where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go?
Exactly.
Squeezes through, luckily.
Where do you pick it?
Greg
at this stage of the race. It was indeed. I don't know if it's just posted that link in the chat, but I did just post the live timing link out there. If it hasn't, I do apologise. But perhaps the admin of the channel. Oh yeah.
He's just got to go. It's a track block.
No, it's just what can you do? What can you do at that point? And unfortunately for Barbs, that's his night pretty much done. And out of this race, as I think Brendan Purcell is off the road now, and this is up at McPhillamy Park. I'm just trying to find where he is up there. I think he's actually just towed back to pit. Oh, he's been disqualified. So Brendan Purcell's just been disqualified for some reason, so I'm unsure why that has happened. But definitely not what he would have wanted. This was his incident up at the top of the hill.
Oh, there it is. That's that puddle of death again that you mentioned at the start of the show, wasn't it? You said keep an eye on this.
I know why he's been disqualified, Dean. He's driven backwards on the circuit. Yep, he's driven onto the grass to try and get that car out the way, and iRacing has automatically disqualified him. So that is why.
Lead at the moment. No, not sticking your nose in just yet there from Owen Coleman. He's been probably, you'd have to say, a bit quicker in the last couple of laps than Owen, than Kane Ryder has. He's been leading almost every lap of this race at this point. Is it really bringing him into the clutches there of James Mason there, or Daniel McCrum? So that's the interesting. Scotty's, where is Scotty? Actually, come to think of it, Scott Rankin's dropped back.
Actually, where is Scott Rankin?
I didn't see anything about Scott Rankin incidents there, but he must have made a mistake.
Something's happened, because he is back down right behind Pete Baxter. And in fact, he's actually a few seconds behind Pete Baxter at this stage. So there's a one-up for Pete. He's beating Scott on the road.
Off somewhere as well, so a bit of a tank slapper into the fence, and he's got no rear wing, bit damaged on the Porsche there, my friend.
So at this stage, for some fuel info for you. Oh no, Scott Rankin just put it in the wall! Scott Rankin has just put it in the wall at the top of the hill!
That's what you mentioned, isn't it? Where is Scotty?
That car is parked right on Brock's skyline. He's gotten it going once again. But that was a wild, wild ride for Scott Rankin. Absolutely wild.
It's the puddle. It's the puddle.
It is. It's the puddle. It's caught him out.
I don't think
it's a real shame.
Nobody else managed to. Everybody managed to avoid him, actually, as he tucked in just off the racing line. So, I mean, sad for Scotty, of course, to do that, have that damage. But hats off to him for making sure he did his best to avoid anybody else getting into his car there and destroying their races as well. No excitement all over the place. How's this going to pan out? We're seeing some side-by-side action up at the moment here with Scotty. At the moment, he's getting overtaken. I'm going to shoot that back up to the front, my friend, because that's where still Coleman can't find a way past our race leader, Kane Ryder, so far.
Just been unable to move his way past just yet, but he doesn't necessarily need to get past him just yet either, Dean. I mean, he can save some fuel behind Kane, put the pressure on him. Ultimately, there's still an hour left of this race. Owen doesn't need to lead this race for the next hour. He only has to lead it for 5 minutes, and it's the final 5 minutes. So I think he knows that. I think he's happy just to sit behind Kane. Kane's not running away from him at this point. So Owen is keeping the pressure on him, and he's pushing him at this point. So, you know, for these guys to be building gap over Mason, we've already lost 2 of our top contenders tonight in Greg Barber and now Scott Rankin, who's been thrown down the order as well. We're left with 3 who started inside of the top 5, those being Kane Ryder, Owen Coleman and James Mason. But this just proves the point that I said earlier on of keeping your car clean, focusing on controlling the controllable and keeping it out of pit lane. That's how important it is, because it will keep you out of strife at the best of times.
I'll get that timing link to you as well too in a second, because
yeah,
I think it's just naturally just kind of blocks the links there.
I mean, it blocks accounts that are not admin of the channel, so that's fine. You have the power. There's James Mason is still blinking out there, by the way, in P3. So if his internet holds out for the next 60 minutes, that is that fibre cable deserves a pay rise for sure. There's the link as well. So thank you everyone for holding on for the time.
Your mum or your dad or someone that doesn't go up there and go reset the router because I can't connect to Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
Driving halfway through the race. I've seen that before.
Yeah. It pays to have a direct Ethernet cable to the NBN wall mount instead of having it into the modem. That way, if they turn off the modem, it's not going to affect your internet. As Ben Wilkes continues here to get some pressure here from John Akers and Pete Baxter in behind him. So that is how close the battle is for the Challenger class, by the way. Pete Baxter has chased down Ben Wilkes to a 0.9 of a second gap at this point in the race. That is a great effort for Pete Baxter. He's currently second on the biggest movers list behind Packets Hughes, who's currently up 19/20, because he's in the midst of a battle at this stage further back, as Scott Rankin and Bradley Hudswell are into pit lane for the second time this evening.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they can kind of recover from what has been. Look at how close they are to the top 2. Kane, Ryder and Coleman. See, for now, they're starting to drop at the moment. They're James Mason by 1.5 seconds. So I think that's what Coleman's right. I think he said doesn't need to necessarily get past Kane. He just needs to apply that pressure. Maybe force into a mistake. Play those psychological games that you can do. And if he feels, obviously, that Ryder's pace is there, which it has been, then why not just stay with him? But at some point later on this race, because we're only halfway through this race at the moment, he's going to have to elect to do something about that. Maybe the last dying stages of this race. What about fuel situation between them as well? Can one driver go a little bit longer than the other?
I think Owen's been just saving a bit of fuel in behind Kane. He's not having to push as hard in behind him as well. They're running very similar lap times, but Coleman will be getting helped by the fact that he is getting a draft off of Kane down, through the straights, up Mountain Straight and down Conrod as well. I think at this stage for them, the importance of fuel strategy as well. Do you take tyres on your next stop? I think ultimately your next stop's the best choice, because you don't want to be risking putting yourself back by a few seconds across the next quarter of the race where you're into your next stint, because if you give up time there and then you take tyres at the final half an hour point after not taking tyres now, you're going to put yourself even further back. But take the fresh rubber now, push on, deal with the cold tyres early on, and hope that you're going to be able to make it to the end. I think all Owen Coleman can do is control his race, stick to his strategy, do what he needs to do, and just try and push on to hopefully take home a race win here tonight. And continuing the sheer dominance of the Ford Mustang, which took some very impressive wins last season in the limited series, and he'll be hoping to try and do that again. But I'm really impressed by that Lamborghini Kane Ryder. Top effort tonight. Started on pole, he's remained there, he's kept himself clean, but a single mistake, Dean, could really push him out of it. I'm also really impressed by Pete Baxter tonight. Shout out Pete. It was great to call the action with him last season. Up 18 at this point to P2 in class, pressuring elite driver John Akers so he can get up to Ben Wilkes, put pressure on him for the race lead in his class. Top job to Pete Baxter right now. He may take home this Challenger class win just yet. Yeah,
if you tune in, obviously, for the next race here at Premier Racing Series for the Open class, you're going to hear Pete talk about that if he does manage to finish himself in a great result.
I'm glad that Scott Rankin gets to call that race, Dean. Oh, John Akers off the road, right in front of Pete Baxter. What avoidance from Pete there. As that there is Piper in the wall as well. Yep. So Piper's up in the wall up at Sulman Park. And then following that, John Akers has gone into the wall off the puddle of death up at McPhillamy as well. So this was Daniel Piper's moment. We saw him dropping down the timing tower, just got it loose on the rear end, straight in the barrier. Did well to hold brakes up there at a really difficult spot and just keep that car parked there. Didn't want to have to hurt anyone else's race. As I think Alfonso Latea as well, Dean, has just gone off the road down at the chase as well. So cars are going off everywhere. Brock Caddy's in pit lane. And that was Daniel Piper's rejoin. But how quickly it can turn on its head. And how quickly a spanner can be thrown in the works as well. Owen Coleman continues to apply the pressure here to Kane Ryder. Caddy's in. Luke King's in as well. As there have been a couple of incidents. Could have been avoided off that lap. That have just happened out there. And, well, let's have a quick look back at how John Akers lost his car when Pete Baxter managed to get past him. So Piper has already gone around at this point. So these guys go up the hill. And for Baxter, he just continues to apply pressure to John. So let's just watch this across the top for a second here, Dean, as the leaders continue to battle away. So not looking too bad is John. Car looks pretty clean at this point. He's still pushing on here for Riot Sim Racing. But I wonder if there's a little wiggle just before McPhillamy Park because he catches the puddle on the outside. Car looked pretty tidy on entry. Watch this. Out wide, puddle, all puddle, no curb, straight in the wall. And the avoidance there of Pete Baxter was top level.
Doesn't take much, does it? Just a tiny little wheel on it, and it sends you around. And it's amazing too because we've seen a lot of drivers gamble with that. They've gone over it. They haven't slipped. They've managed to save it somehow, but you kind of just like skating on thin ice is the term literally on that one, isn't it? Like how many times can you push it before at some point that just goes out on you? And surely you've got bloody spotters out there. You've got mates on it. I'm probably chewing your ear off on the radio going, be careful, be careful, be careful, because we're looking at replays over replays after replays of drivers that have just lost it right there. So do you really want to gamble out there to try to gain yourself, what, a couple of milliseconds?
Yeah, I wonder actually how much drier the top of the curb is compared to the puddle itself. And actually, if it'll be worth just trying to ride the curb more so than just trying to avoid the curb and catching all puddle on the inside of the curb. I wonder how much importance they're putting on that at this stage, and actually how dry that curb is. It's a real shame that that's happened now to John. He's kept going though. Actually, he's just brought in pit lane. Jesse Butler's in pit lane as well. Abraxas Creations in the chat. Well, what a waste of a week of practice. Unfortunately, that's racing.
Bathurst,
shame that's happened. Yeah.
25-second penalty for Gavin Simpson on lap 22 for causing the incident. So that's the situation. Drivers are making pit stops as we scheduled, as you said. We were looking at potentially 4 pit stops. They could be shaved down to 3 now, depending on those 2 safety cars that we had, which saved themselves probably about 4 to 5 laps on fuel. That's interesting in that situation. Are these race leaders going to be looking at coming in at the moment? Is Coleman just feeling that? Oh,
who was that in the wall then? Sorry, was that Scott Rankin again?
It's Scotty again.
It is Scotty again.
Scotty's in the fence.
Up at the top. My God. Once again, Scott Rankin into the wall. And, well, if he's already used the fast track, I'm not sure if he has, but if he has already, he's gotten to tow. I wonder if that could be race over for him or not. That is not a fun night for Scott Rankin just far on what looked to be a promising one from the get-go. And unfortunately, it's ended in tears at this stage.
Because probably I showed him that picture of him in the tutu, whatever it was. He'll never live me down for sending me that picture, of course. But we love Scotty, and it's just unfortunate he's having one of those bad races. Well, the positive side of anything I always say, Hamish, is that if you can have one bad race a season, of course, and this is only a short season of 5 races, get it over and done with for the first one, because you've got really no points to lose anyway. Everybody's on 0 points going into this race. You don't want to do that on the last round, do you?
Let's get it over and done with at Bathurst, where ultimately nearly everyone's going to hit the wall. As John Trott's now in pit lane as well, by the way, so that OPR car's now in to pit road. Rude Poistra in, Luke Capot's are in as well. Pete Baxter's coming in, Bell Milks has gone for another lap, and I wonder if Pete If he comes out in clean air here, Dean, if he can actually maybe try and undercut Ben Wilkes as pressure's rising further back. Gavin Simpson, what a comeback to this point. Put it in the wall earlier tonight up in McPhillamy Park, and now back up into the top 11 cars on the road at this stage. Does need a pit stop though at this point in time, and they are going to go at it at this point here, and they're pushing for position hard at this stage.
We used to go 3 wide, come on. I double dare you, I triple dare you to go 3 wide up here. They might very much do it.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Do not do it, gentlemen. It's not worth it, I promise. They don't. They make the smarter choice. And they sink back into position for Griffin's Bend. Very easily, that would have been nuclear levels of explosion,
Sprint
I
race?
think.
Yeah. I'm going to say go for it, the sprint
race.
race. Yeah, but endurance race, no. We're only just over an hour. You've still got 40, 50 minutes to go.
You can't want to do that right now. Maybe in the last 5 minutes, perhaps. Last 5 minutes of this race, that's when you go for the 3 wide move, when you're desperate for position. But at this point, it's not worth it. Kane Ryder's just caught some lap traffic. He's made his way past now Nick Schmalenberg of JWM Simsport. Owen Coleman will try and get by him just before the chase. When will the top 2 come in? They would have been doing a little bit of fuel saving up here. Coleman's wanting it on the inside. Gets that job done on Schmalenberg. So what does Ryder do? He comes in. So Kane Ryder into pit lane. Owen Coleman follows. So they've gone to the extent. Mason. Yep. McCrowan will Adcock follow as well. I think this is the extent of the fuel life. And we've gotten out to an hour and 10 minutes. So we're still going to need one more stop to get home in this race, Dean. And I think the only way they could do it with this stop singularly is if there was enough safety cars. And I don't know if there's going to be.
Alex is coming in. Let's see if Ben comes in. Yes, he will. Hodges, Simpson, they're a little bit further down the road there. They're going to elect to do this as well.
I seriously think this is the extent. I think this is actually the extent now of the stint, and not many of them are going to be able to go much further. Interestingly enough, Tazikas earlier in the night actually had some damage on the front of his car. Already got it fixed up. May have used that fast
spare. So out. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's staying out again. Okay,
go to the top of the timesheets right now. If he can get out, Kane Ryder's in the pit exit.
Oh, Owen Coleman.
No, Kane will get out ahead.
Yep, Daniel McCrowan, the other team, Max Bruce car, has followed him straight out. Coleman took tyres. So the top 2 have elected not to take tyres. The issue now is, Dean, is if Coleman is right onto the back of them for the whole of the next stint on this fresh set, they are going to have to take tyres on the next one. They're going to automatically drop 4 seconds to him when he only has to take fuel on his next stop. I think they've made a mistake not taking them now.
This should be essentially what looking at is 4 tyres as well, 2, not 2. So just if it says 2 tyres there, just assume that's a 4 and get that fixed up, because we're just kind of, once again, calculating that. But it will go tell the difference between tyres and just fuel, as you mentioned. So Kane Ryder's now 2nd place. Daniel's in the lead.
He's let his teammate pass up there.
He has let his teammate pass.
And I wonder if maybe he needs to take a bit more time to get the tyres up to temperature on board that Lambo, and that's why he's let the Corvette past him.
That might be the case. Tonkin's going to seize this opportunity for sure to pounce. He doesn't want to let these 2 teammates kind of dominate and control this race, aren't they? Because they can work together here.
He hit the wall. That's why. Ryder hit the wall, so that's why he's let his teammate past. So this is how it happened to Kane Ryder up at the top of the hill, just the start of the rise up the hill. So through the cutting they went, and for Ryder, he comes up through the cutting, runs it wide.
Oh, there it is.
Barely holds it off the wall, and that allows McCrowan through. And Tonkin's actually gone past him now as well.
Well, if he sees an opportunity like that, and he had the speed coming out of the elbow down Conrod Straight, he figured, yes. Well, he's coming into pit road. Remember, he didn't have, Tonkin was running on vapors, mate.
Yeah. He was literally running on hopes and dreams at that point. So
that's why Kane let him past. He didn't figure it was too much of a fight on that one, is it? Yeah, smart move.
Yep. Andrew Neal's in pit lane as well. So Daniel Fritz is now leading the way for the Challenger class, but he last pitted on lap 16, so he'll also need a stop here. Ben Wilkes has exited pit lane ahead of Pete Baxter, but how much pressure is Pete going to be able to apply to him here? Well, there's about 0.7 of a second between them at this stage on the road for that Challenger class lead. But the top 4, man, oh man, they are closely contested for the race win at Bathurst. What a race to win in your first round of the season. What a campaign to begin. Paramount Panorama. And imagine if you could go 2 for 2 in Australia. Imagine if you could win it at Bathurst tonight, Adelaide next time out as well. The sort of status you could get yourself as last pit stop information once again. McCrowan took fuel only, no tyres for Ryder either. Coleman did take tyres, so he won't need them on the next stop. And the fact that he's tucked right up behind Kane Ryder means he will exit pit lane on his next stop ahead of Kane Ryder, as long as he keeps this car nice and tidy.
Well. We're getting closer to the business end of this race. 45 minutes remaining. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please remember to hit the subscribe button if you're liking the motor racing. If you're liking this particular race itself, hit the like button. And if you subscribe, of course, hit the notifications, because we got endurance racing every month.
Oh, Root Koistra, sorry. It's just gone off up at the up at Skyline. Scott Rankin's joined us in the booth tonight. I'm going to assume that your race is over, Scott. First thing I'm going to say to you is, though, how does it feel to know that Pete Baxter has made it longer than you in a Bathurst race?
No. To be fair to Pete, I am never hearing the end of that one.
No, you won't now, man.
If I was in your boat, Scott.
Can you not stab that in right now?
I don't want to be in your position in Adelaide in a few weeks' time for round 2 of the Open Series, because I feel like that Pete may find some opportunities to mention this.
Yeah, a little frustrated today. Unfortunately, what happened is that first stint, I've been really gimped in terms of the testing that I've been able to put in. So I put a lot of hot track running testing in, and that's all the time I had to put in. And I left for Sydney last weekend, and I basically just had to go, that's the setup I'm on, that's what I race. And car 89, I think John Akers just called for a tow as well.
I think he may have. I think Akers has. We've had a question in the chat too to show Christian Wells' roof. I'm trying to get a shot of it now. Just quickly here. How was it out there, Scott? I did some laps the other day in the BMW around here, and the one thing I can tell you is cold tyres were not very nice out on track. How was it in the freshly updated Corvette? Yep, so safety car's out. How was it in the Corvette out there?
Hot temperature, the car felt brilliant. Car felt really, really good in that hot temperature, and like I said, a lot of confidence. Like I said, one of the biggest things I hadn't actually done was any practice in the hot running, and what actually happened was I was expecting the car to come to me rather than go away from me. So effectively what happened is I lost grip in the front of the car. It just wouldn't turn across the top anymore, which is something I've never felt in any car ever. So that was new to me. Yeah, really frustrated. I'm getting back into racing. Obviously, you know, Hamish, the amount of work I'm putting in lately, and the effort I'm putting into NASCAR stuff as well. And it's look, I've put a few races in this weekend, and that puddle.
Yeah, you love that puddle, don't you, Scotty? I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. The front end of the car just would not turn there, and that's the issue I had. I was out of the gas, and it's still not turning. So I don't know if Ruiz had a balance change there in his car as well.
Well, obviously, Scott, you just mentioned getting into racing more and more now. Did you pick the Corvette this season to show Tom Wilkinson how it's done?
A little bit, but I actually really like the car. And there's John.
Yeah.
No, I actually really like the sound of the car and everything. And one of the things we're actually just talking about that I wasn't aware of is, it's a balance change. The Corvette's actually really, really strong in hot temps. And as the track cools off, the Corvette just goes away. So I'm now aware of that. I wasn't aware of that 15 minutes ago. So... work to do, skills coming back, brake traces are looking good. I'm feeling good, but I'm really frustrated at the moment. So we'll put the head down and see what we can do. Thanks, boys.
All you can do.
Yeah.
Scotty,
I guess
well
it's probably that picture I put up here, Scotty, which we still have here.
No, get that out of there. I don't live in that house anymore. Thanks, boys.
You're gonna regret me giving you that. You give me that picture, mate.
I'm copping daggers from you. I know I'm gonna cop daggers from Pete. I'm copping daggers from Hamish. I'm gonna cop daggers from Hamish tomorrow night. Yeah. And the teammates are all jabbing the barbs in at me as well. I'm copping it from every direction. So.
You know how you can better that, Scott? Win at Suzuka tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've just retired from racing. I'm done. Actually, don't mind Suzuka. Suzuka's going to be interesting the most. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone that's out there and watching along. Yeah, a big shout out to the series sponsors as well, and Matt Webber and the team from Dash Off-Road as well. I was talking to Connor, and Connor said that he looks after Connor Nixon. I don't know if you guys saw the entry list, but we had about 5 spotters on board car 156, so it was all that extra weight that was slowing me down. I'll blame them. Thanks, boys. I'll leave you with it.
Oh, you can stay if you want, Scotty.
No, I'm out of here. I do not want to see this sim right now. This is hurting.
Right, there you go.
We've had a claim we haven't shown. We've had a claim we haven't. Yeah, Scott Rankin. We've had a claim we haven't shown Alex Sezikis' car all night, but I recall showing his car when he was in pit lane before. I just showed his car before, so.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. On track. P8 at this stage. Yeah.
That's a solid drive. Up 18 places too for Alex. So
yeah, and was missing the front end earlier on in this race too. So he's doing a very, very good job at this stage, which is really, really good to see for Alex tonight. But he's been stuck in no man's land the majority of the race. He's kind of just been in a race of his own, no one around him. So that would be why we haven't really focused on him just yet, outside of when he was in pit lane just before too. So yeah, but. At this stage, he's done well. Up 18, Kapot's up 18, Butler up 10, Adcock up 12, Caddy up 11 too. Those are just the big gainers inside of the top 10 as well. So yeah, it's really, really good to see for those big gainers into the top 10. We're an hour and 20 minutes into this race, Dean. I wonder if anyone's been willing to risk pitting at this point if we were going to get safety cars at the end.
That's true, isn't it? With 40 minutes remaining in this race.
They went 40 minutes before with 2 safety cars. I mean, is it worth the risk for you? I think if you're further down the order...
If you're further down, I would risk it for the biscuit, mate. Because, you could gain a lot more, potentially, than what you would just by staying down there with the points. So, why not? What position, what would you be? Outside the top 20? Outside the top 30?
I would say outside maybe the top 20. I think 20th, you're still in a pretty reasonable spot. If you feel you've got pace and you're stuck in the pack, the issue is you're then going to put yourself further back and you're going to be stuck in the traffic, I suppose. Yeah. I think bottom half of the field, you come in and you risk it, I think, because you could get yourself a top 10 out of it.
That's true.
You could get yourself a class win out of it if you're in the Challenger class as well. So I think trying to take that strategy will obviously help you out. We've got a question. Is this iRacing? As it says in the bottom corner, it is iRacing. Yes, it is.
And also on top of that, if there's another big accident up in the mountain, by pitting or something like that, starting on the back there, you probably have avoided yourself. Midfield is always a dangerous place to be in Bathurst, isn't it? With 50-odd cars on the track. The best place for it to be is where Daniel is currently at the moment and leading this race at the front there. He doesn't have to worry about anybody spinning in front of him. If he causes a spin, of course, that's a major carnage there for the rest of the field. You saw Kane Ryder getting away with just a tank sliper into the fence before, isn't it? Where it dropped him back a place or two, but now he is back into that P2 position. Team Max Boost are leading this 1 and 2. Going to be very difficult for the rest of these drivers to work past, try to get past them because, once again, you can become track blockers, can't you? If your teammates.
Very easily you can. I think the main issue now is for McCrohan and Ryder is all of a sudden McCrohan doesn't have that gap anymore that he once had over Coleman. Knowing that they had it was a 17.97 second stop on McCrohan's last stop. Ryder's 18.22. Coleman's 22.27. So Coleman took tyres on his last stop. Those top 2 are yet to take fresh tyres on board that Corvette and that Lamborghini at the front end. If they don't take tyres, obviously they'll stay ahead of Coleman, but Coleman will be on much fresher rubber and at a much bigger advantage in terms of grip off the next stop. If they take tyres, they're going to give up 4 seconds to Coleman. Coleman's all of a sudden going to be in the race lead. Weighing up those options, weighing up that strategy call of has this worked out for you, the main thing I think they need to focus on right now is not what Coleman's doing. They need to focus on trying to build up some gap. They've got to build up a 4-second gap. If they can build that up, they're going to give themselves a chance to still walk away and win this race. That's probably their only chance at this stage, other than Coleman making a mistake within the final 35 minutes or so.
And his internet holding in there as well too, hopefully on that one, because it's blinking a bit. Once again, they're there weaving all through there, as you'd spoken to earlier. If you just tuned in, Hamish was talking about getting the temperature into these tyres. They do take a few laps to get fully up into temperature, especially too if they start slashing over to those puddles, and there's a few puddles of depth that we've seen, which has caused majority of the incidents here this evening. But once again, you know, that's the situation of motor racing. That's Bathurst. There's plenty of things out here that you have to conquer. I mean, old Skippy might jump across the fence there and jump across the track as well too. I wonder if an iRacing going to add that in.
We've had one seen there previously, many years ago during the 1000. We've seen them during the 12-hour as well.
And when's iRacing going to code one in?
Well, when are they going to code in random mechanical failures as well? Like when your throttle break randomly in a race or something like that.
Well, I think we have enough of that, don't we? With actual real
world. We have that in real life.
People's brake pedals disconnecting, their monitors disconnecting, VR.
I think the one mechanical failure I would like to see is, I think, because I'm trying to think if I don't think I've ever gotten a puncture one time in an open wheel car. But maybe like if you catch a bit of like if they leave the debris on the track from a car crashing, if you catch it, if it actually gives you a puncture, I think that would be kind of cool. Like if someone crashes and there's a piece of carbon on the road and you drive over it and it wears your tire and it gives you a puncture or something, or a slow leak tire, that would be pretty cool if they'd be able to add that in future. But the iRacing's come a long way. I saw a video today of somebody driving on the original version of iRacing.
Oh, really?
Version 1.01.
Probably people have gone. Oh.
It looks so much different. It has come such a long way in 18 years. And for what iRacing looks like now compared to what it was in its first stages, it has come a long, long way, and it's going to continue to grow a long, long way across the future as well. That's your calendar for you for the rest of the season. Of course, Adelaide next week, going to be huge. Road America, Circuit de la Sarthe at Le Mans, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as well will end out the season too. I want to give a massive shout out, of course, to the title sponsors of the limited series. Once again, staying on board, Dash Offroad, 4x4 parts and accessories store. You can head over to www.dashoffroad.com.au. We're currently under Sud Speed Safety Car for the third time here tonight. You can head over to www.sudspeed.com, get some premium sim racing gloves for sim racers made by sim racers, and a shout out as well to Kibby Graphics. You can find them at kibbygraphics.com.au, and Sim Racing in Focus podcast as well. You can find them over on facebook.com/Sim Racing in Focus, or any of your popular podcast outlets as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything like that. And on YouTube with the video variant of the podcast too, with Packets and Dean heading up that podcast as well. I had the pleasure of being on there myself midway through last year. It's a great show, and nice. I recommend you guys go and check it out. They've been putting more and more content out recently, which is great to see. So keep it up, boys. It's a great effort, and I've enjoyed listening to each one that I have over the last few weeks. Daniel McCrowan of Team Max Boost and Kane Ryder, his teammate, at control of the field. 33 minutes left on the clock. Enough time to come in and take a stop and get your cars home as well. For Owen Coleman, he sits with an advantage over them at this stage where they need to take tyres on the next stop. He doesn't. It's an immediate +4 seconds on the clock for him. We'll go green flag once again as Ben Wilkes also leads for the Challenger class just over Peter Baxter. And everyone is underway at Mount Panorama once again, off the back of our third safety car of the evening. And running it up Mountain Straight, you see James Mason, the blinky bill of the evening. He's been blinking in and out off the track all night long. He still sits P4, just in behind Owen Coleman. But that pressure's building in and amongst the midfield as well. And for everyone to survive this restart, that's going to be crucial, because we know the chaos we got off the last two restarts, Dean. We don't want to repeat that, as Ben Wilkes has run a wide at Griffins, and that's allowed Pete Baxter through into the lead of the Challenger class. A crucial mistake for Ben Wilkes at this point of the race.
And a switch we're up the front as well, too. Kane Ryder goes through as well. Yeah, McCron must have made a mistake there. It's going to be big pressure at the moment there from Owen.
James Mason as well. Mason's gone round. He's been sitting up in the top 5 the whole race, and he's gone round the top of the hill. That car is off. John Trott's off as well in the Mustang and the OPR entry. So once again, the safety car restart is claiming victim after victim up there, as Kane Ryder and Coleman continue to push on. McCrowan's given back the lead now to Ryder. But this is the importance now, trying to survive the early onslaught off the restart. That is super, super important. As Tristan McLaren, no, it's not Tristan, sorry, I think it's still Mason and Trott, they're still parked there. They're waiting for a tow, it seems. Shouldn't be a safety car, surely.
No,
if it is, we're going to see everyone
they
coming
are
in.
off the racing line there as well, so you don't really go on the grass. If you go on the grass there, you're in big, big trouble anyway. So you'd imagine they might be okay to get that car to be towed. But yeah, big names coming out in that one, isn't it? With Mason having a crash there, John Trott. And now we've got Brock Cadday as well. Brock Cadday coming into play for the other Mustang. So this is fantastic. He was just inside that top 10, hovering around there.
Up 12 into P4. Great effort tonight from Brock Caddy. As Bax is now putting some pressure here on Luke Capozza. Inter-class battle between them as well. And for Caddy, putting pressure on Owen Coleman for the final position on the podium. The benefit is, though, if Caddy can stick where he is, those top two may still drop below him and Coleman off the next stop. So it's important that they just hang out here, work together as Mustang cohorts and try and push on. Yeah, he has got the overtake done. That's a great job there from Mr. Baxter. As well, Ryder has got some great gap already starting to build here over Daniel McCrowan. He's got Coleman hot on the back of him.
Yep. Pete up into the top of the class. As you can see his name there for the Challenger class. So even though he is actually in P8, I'm very impressive to be inside that top 10. He's still leading in class. That's what he wants to be. He wants to make sure he's leading all the green cars on the timing tower. And he'd love to be leading all the classes, of course, including the elite classes. But in his own battle, of course, that's what he wants to conquer here this evening. So that Pete can also remind us, and you'll tune in to the next race here on the Premier Endurance Racing, and then you can actually have listened to Pete, and he'll give his feedback about this race as well.
There's been some incidents as of late here, Dean. Nathan Hodges is off. Yeah, Nick Schmallenberg's had a moment. Hodges has been off down at the chase, as well as Chris Ruddle is turned around at the wrong moment down at Griffin's Bend. That car is not in a safe position, but this has, this has not been, it's been chaos. Honestly, it's been chaos, but this has not been good here for Chris Ruddle to get this car into the wall at that stage. He's been allowed to tow back to pit lane as the race leaders continue on.
There's the Sue Speed advertisement, of course, on not only in the safety car, but on Chris's car, as you mentioned.
They're getting the advertising. They're getting the advertising, and that's what it is.
And this is Smellenberg as well, too, I think. He's already got
I think he was
damage.
already going slow, so he's already had an incident at that point. And he's just trying to get it back to pit lane, unfortunately, there for Schmallenberg. So he will continue on. Ben Wilkes has currently got 2.5 seconds up to Challenger class leader Pete Baxter in their battle for a race win here tonight. For the Challenger class, as I just said, Kane Ryder has now got a 1.97 second gap over Owen Coleman. But again, as we said, these teams' max boost cars, they're still anticipated to take tyres on the next stop as Butler sends it up the inside. Up at Griffin's Bend, gets that job done, and now looks to push on once again. He's just got that job done over Ed Adcock on board the Acura out there, as Schmallenberg has, well, he's had another moment. Has he even brought this car in to fix it yet, Dean? I mean, surely he has. There's no way. He's still rolling out there.
Yeah, there he is. Well, he's going to try, but I think it's about Bathurst. It's a long way to go, mate. As ACDC would say.
He's been past pit lane already.
Oh, dear. So has he missed it or something?
Oh, I don't think so, but surely he's going to come in now. He is going to come in now, so that's fine for him. Alex Tzikis at the moment as well. He has got Pete Baxter all over the back of the JMR Mercedes. He is continuing to get pressurised out there by the Challenger class leader.
Luke King, Luke Posa.
Oh my God, Luke! Oh my God!
Look at this.
They're all struggling off the top. There's Tzikis. Not going to put too much challenge to Pete here. Again, driving his own race. Racing very smart is Alex Tzikis at the moment. And again, you know, Pete's not his battle. There's no point in him defending Pete. So he's done the right thing there, Dean. Just let him go. Let him push on and you continue with your race. And again, I think Alex right now is showing the prowess of does not need to defend, does not need to push his own race, control his own race, keep himself clean, and he'll get there in the end in a top position. And hats have to go off to him, because that's a great sound strategy. As Kapotz is now into pit lane. So we still need one more stop for the vast majority of the field, for those who've not come in since this last safety car. So everyone in the whole field, majority of which need to still come in for another stop here tonight. The important point that we're drilling home is, I think the vital mistake that the race leaders made in Kane Ryder and Daniel McCrowan to not take tyres on their stop, Dean, has meant that Owen Coleman, because he sat right behind them, should get a little bit of advantage when he comes into pit lane. But I think the balancing act of when you come into pit lane is going to be important. Now, if you're forced to come in because of a safety car, well, obviously it's going to force everyone in, because it's a free stop, you can get home from here. If it's an under green pit stop, the hope you make is, if you pit early, that there is no safety car called and the other driver also has to do a green flag stop. If there's a safety car called and they get to come in under yellow, it's like a free kick for them to stay ahead of you or get past you across this next portion of the race.
Absolutely. That's going to be crucial at the moment. The situation that's going to be going through these drivers' heads is, remember, they are almost an hour 40 into this, so they've been driving hard for this period of time. Of course, a little bit of a breather with a couple of safety cars between that, but it's a lot of concentration, it's a lot of mental work, it's a lot of stress. There's a penalty at the moment, 15 seconds for car 88. That's Bradley Hudswell on lap 35 for causing an incident. Race control are watching. The eye in the sky is reviewing any incidents across the board there with this big stack grid that we have here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. 87 or so watching at the moment. Thank you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button too if you're having fun here, enjoying your friends and family, and just enjoying some fantastic motor racing here on a Sunday night here in Australia. Because there's more to come. Don't you worry about that. 25 minutes remaining. There's battle packs all over the field here, Hamish.
All up and down the tower at this stage of the race. Pit stops have been happening as well. I've just seen before Joshua Swain was stuck up at the exit of the cutting there. I believe he's gotten going once again. And a wild ride for Matt Carey a little bit ago as well. So he's also kept going at this stage. Dick Clydesdale, he's getting the love in the chat out there. He's just been passed by Dean Reddit and Packets Hughes. So the Sim Racing in Focus podcast co-hosts getting the 2-for-1 special there on Nick, and move their way past to see if the JWM teammates of Tonkin and Reynolds can do the exact same thing on him across this next lap as well. But yeah, Nick's not doing too bad of a job, up 10 at the moment, but hats off to Packets Hughes, up 36 in this race. Pretty good position to be in, Dean, after being the wrong way around at Skyline only about an hour ago.
Goes to show you, isn't it? And never give up, never surrender attitude for the drivers, because it's a endurance race and you need to be in it. Because until you see Bunny that chicken flag there, you don't know what's going to happen at the moment. You just don't know.
That's right.
Oh, Joshua Swan, I think, has had a little bit of a moment. If you're going to look at that in picture as well.
Let's see if we can find it. I don't know if I...
P36, I think Joshua is he just going off the track?
Oh, no, Swain. No,
Swain,
I think he just ran it wide at turn 1, so that's okay. But he's still pushing on here. Tzekis has now got Luke King on his heels, and I don't think he's going to let Luke pass as easily as he let Peter pass earlier, because this is an inter-elite class battle. So knowing that these guys are scored separately, there'd be no point letting him go. I think he'd be happy just to sit in front of him and try and push on at this stage of the race. Ben Wilkes is losing time to Pete Baxter ahead of him. It's now out to 5.4, nearly 5.5 seconds between the race leader of the Challenger class and P2, as Alfonso Latea has gone round up at Forest Elbow. This car is still moving for AITX, but this is how it happened for him on the small screen as the front runners are continuing to battle away.
Yeah, a little bit of door banging at the moment here. Look at this. Matthew Cross is getting into the mix here at the moment as well. It's Porsche versus Porsche. Around the final corner, come down to Hell's Corner. Could be hell or heaven for one of these drivers if they get it all wrong. Look at that, the background there too. Jake DeBetta, he's also having a little bit of a whiff. Come on, boys, let's bring it. Running out of time here at the moment. But with pit stops coming, these cars are probably pretty light at the moment too, there, you'd have to say. They're Hamish, so starting to put some bank of times into zone. Also set the passes first sector. Go ahead.
Well, we've just seen a 203 from Kane Ryder. Yeah. 203.93 on that last lap. Now, it hasn't counted, I believe, as the fastest lap of the race, because I believe he may have gotten a 1x at some point across the lap, so that lap is not counted towards the fastest lap of the race. So, but at least on the clock, that is, it is the fastest lap, as Owen Coleman is putting all sorts of pressure right now onto Daniel McCrowan in P2. They've got lap traffic ahead of them to deal with. It's starting to get put on here. I think McCrowan's trying to hold him up. He is trying to build the gap for Coleman to ride up, to push it out to 5 seconds. He wants to try and force this gap to be 5 seconds so Ryder can take his tyres and he can come out ahead of Coleman in this race. Coleman's got to get by McCrowan. He's got to get by him as soon as possible. He cannot afford to sit right behind him.
If he wants to win this race, that's exactly what should be going through his mind, isn't it? That's going to come to that pit stops. And we mentioned that earlier, as you said. The big difference, of course, in those pit stops between those drivers is the tyres. Coleman, and assume that's 4 tyres, not 2, is a big difference here. Now, if Kane and McCrowan have to take tyres, that's going to cost them. That should be Owen jumping in the pit lane if he times everything perfect, mate.
Yeah, I don't think they would want to risk a double stint on tyres tonight. I think they're going to want to have this final quarter stint, or final half stint, I should say, on tyres, fresh tyres to the end. They've managed to push these ones out now for 1 hour and 40 minutes. So they want to try and hold on to their rubber as best they can. That's why they want to try and change tyres across the next stop, as McCrowan's getting pushed here for position from Coleman, and he's not quite been close enough to set him up for that move. As battles are continuing on all throughout the field. Everyone's kind of petered out, though, at this stage here, Dean, because, well, we're in pit stop territory and more more cars have been coming through pit lane, so the gaps have just started to form. Be sure as well, if you're watching along with us for the first time or you've been here for a little while, we've got 84 of you watching out there with us right now on YouTube alone. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here on the channel. A massive season coming your way still. Adelaide next time out on the road. Massive splash across the top from McCrowan, who's pushing the absolute limits of that thing. So yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell icon as well. So you're notified whenever we go racing right here. Get into the chat with us too. Getting into the chat with us here. Yeah, we've got a lot of thumbs up with us, which is great to see. I think people might be getting confused by the hit. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, because everyone's just sending a thumbs up emoji now in chat.
We
be sure to hit the like button, especially. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Drivers do as well too.
Any engagement we get, Dean, will help grow the channel, but also help send the channel out to more people, so more people can see everybody racing. It means that the drivers you're following will get more eyes on them, may lead to more opportunities for them. Who knows?
Well, they're sponsors and everything too, mate.
Exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right. So you're not only going to be helping me and Dean, you're not only going to be helping the league, you're also helping the drivers as well. As Bob Caddy's into pit lane. Yep. So I think he's anticipating the fact that McCrowan is holding up Coleman here. Gap is out to, what is the gap now to the race leader? 2.9 seconds. So he's still about 2 seconds short at this stage, is Kane Ryder, to stay ahead of Owen Coleman. Would it be worth Coleman coming in to try and undercut him, I wonder?
Well, he's fast. That's the thing.
He is.
He's very quick at the moment. I think he's got more pace to him, but the problem is he hasn't got the clean air, so he's had to react at the moment to the rest of the drivers. That's what's going to be interesting. We're going to go back up to those pictures between DM and OC, between Owen and Daniel, as the Owen and Daniel show have been kind of added a tooth and nail most of this race as well. So what do you do? Undercut, overcut situations. But he knows the tyre difference is on his favour. That's going to be the key. What are the team max boost going to do to react? Because I think they know that they've got themselves basically at a podium. They should have themselves a podium here this evening. But which podium do they want? They want the top step, the second step, or the third step? Owen wants, I think, the top step. And he's going to do everything he can to try to see the team max boost with team minimum boost and have the digital motorsports driver of Owen Coleman in the top step.
To try and get this race winner started his season. He's driven incredibly clean thus far tonight. Fantastic performance from Owen Coleman. Great performance from Daniel McCrowan and from Kane Ryder as well at the top end of town. We've just begun lap 42, by the way. Race leader will just begin lap 43 in a moment's time. We have got 16 and a half minutes to the end of this race. 16 and a half minutes. How much fuel are they going to need in these cars? Is it going to be enough to cover tyres for the top two? They may not take tyres, Dean, because they may not have enough fuel to cover them.
Goodness, there's no... Oh, there it is!
Oh, McLaren's in!
Kane's in.
And Ryder!
Yeah.
Ryder's in as well. So Coleman has been fuel-saving now. So let's watch him push across this lap as both of those cars are now in pit lane. And I think, importantly, they may have pitted a lap too early here, Dean, because Owen's now got free road ahead of him, and he is all of a sudden able to push on with no one holding him up. This is crucial they get this right.
And he just set the fastest time on that last lap as well. Not the overall fastest time, but at least a fast time quicker than those two competitors that he's going against. So if Owen can put a banker in, he's got to go back to thinking of Schumacher days. When Schumacher used to do this in Ferrari, he'd stay out a little bit longer or whatever. He'd just put a banker lap in and bang, all of a sudden he would see.
Just to confirm, Ryder has not taken tyres. 12.87 seconds was the pit stop. So he's not been willing to take tyres on that stop because of the amount of fuel that he needed.
Did they come out traffic? No, they didn't. So they're a little bit clear on that one. That's a positive thing for them.
They've got a bit of clear air, but I think the man with the clearest air right now is Owen Coleman. He's all on his own at the top of the mountain. He's able to push this Mustang on light fuel to its absolute maximum. Those puddles have started to dissipate away up there at McPhillamy Park. But this is major pressure now for Kane, Ryder and McCrone, because if Coleman is fuel saved behind them, could he have saved enough to take less fuel on the stop and get this car out of pit lane ahead of them? Down Conrad Straight he comes now. Does he come in this lap? With 14 and a half minutes to go on the clock, is it Owen Coleman's to win, or is it Kane Ryder's? The pole sit up for Team Max Boost on board the Lamborghini Huracan Evo.
If he gets himself a 2:03 time here, he's going to be looking pretty sharp here. Absolutely. If he can stay up for one more lap as well, too, after setting, say, a 2:03, he's going to be looking really, really solid for sure. Let's see what's going to happen here. He's been pretty tidy on this lap. That's going to be the key. And he does come in.
Yep, so he's in now. And for Ryder, he's just coming down Conrad Straight. He's around about at the middle of the straight. So it's got to be full push in for Coleman, who does. So he full pushes into pit lane. Needs to be a perfect stop from him. Has to line up the box to perfection. Needs the fuel calculated to perfection as well. Ryder's coming through the chase down towards Hell Corner. Coleman enters the box. No tyres, just fuel. How much fuel is it going to be? Ryder's on the straight now, coming across the start-finish line. Coleman has taken a 2-second shorter stop. Is it going to be enough to hang on to the race lead? He's exiting pit lane. This is going to be a photo moment for them. Owen Coleman's in the race lead. He's jumped both of them in pit lane in an all-time move for Owen Coleman. What a strategy play for the Mustang, who now leads effectively this race with the 4 cars ahead of them still needed to pit. My God.
But there's traffic up the road that might come into Kane Ryder's favour, because especially up the mountain, my friend, it's not easy just to move over. Kane's going to be on putting his racing blinkers on right now, saying, all right, it's game on. It's got time, 12 minutes.
Those cars still need to pit. The top 4 of Wilkes, Tazikas, Mayer, Adcock, they need to pit now. Mayer last came in on 32. So he's only been out there for 11 laps. How much is he even going to need a pit?
That's true.
Or has he picked this perfectly? Has he snuck his way into the race lead, perhaps? Because it's so close. It is so tight on these numbers. Luckily for Coleman, Wilkes is not within his class, but he should need a pit stop, knowing that he last pitted on lap 29. But this is crucial now.
Keep an eye on Richard.
Absolutely crucial. Richard, genuinely, Richard, I mean, 3-lap difference.
Yeah, he might have enough.
He might. He may. I mean...
as you're going to see Ben get past Alex Tazikas, I think, at the moment. A big battle for currently P3. And we don't even know if that essentially could be P3 based on these fuel situations as well between the drivers. This could have all panned out horrible for Owen Coleman, Kane Ryder, and Daniel McCrone too.
That's right.
These drivers don't have to come back in again. They're going to have to do it all on track. Well,
at the moment, Richard Mayer is up 19 positions into P2. Adcock has gone another lap. Mayer, Wilkes, and Tzidakis have all gone another lap as well. And for Coleman, he's got to try and deal with this traffic now. Are they going to think about the fact, well, he's pitted, we haven't. Do we need a pit? If it's a yes, is it worth us battling him? If it's a no, defend for your life. Hold him off as best you can.
Yep. Kane wants this one, doesn't he? He definitely wants this one. He's not going to be just sitting back at the moment.
Side by side. Then the little door forced him wide at Griffins. Yeah. Kane barely pulls it up on the exit. Coleman wants him out of the way. Yeah. The problem is they're not lap traffic. They don't have to let him through.
No, they don't.
These are not blue flag cars, Owen. They're green flag cars.
Yep. They're just on a different strategy than you.
Exactly. They're allowed to be here. They're in the same class as you as well. It doesn't matter.
It will frustrate him. And he'll think that they have to pit, but he doesn't know their pit strategy. He doesn't know if they can eke it out 10 minutes to go in this race. Maybe fuel saving themselves.
Well, it's going to be at least 5 laps to get to the end. So are they going to be able to go 5 laps longer? I don't know if they can. It's going to be incredibly tight.
I think he's just got to get an overtake done here. He has to just get an overtake done.
He's got to maximise the exit.
Yeah.
Needs exit maximised here. He has to do it at the chase. He cannot afford to give Kane Ryder a run into the chase, so he has to try and defend this and get this job done over Alex Tzidakis, who currently sits P4, but we suspect that Alex needs to come into pit lane.
He's got to keep it in. So Edwards in for the lead, but he's got to be careful of Kane behind him, doesn't he? Because Kane's attacking too for now.
He's going right at him for position into the race lead for Owen Coleman. Ed Adcock's in pit lane. We suspect that Tzidakis and Wilkes will need to as well.
They do.
As they now enter, which that'll really frustrate Owen Coleman knowing that they needed to pit. We've had a comment saying Mayer is a fuel whisperer too, to be fair. So Richard Mayer is going to be... I mean, he is 3 laps ahead on strategy of those cars that have just pit. We've got 9 minutes to go with maybe 4 or 5 laps. It's going to be tight. I don't know how much fuel saving he's going to be able to do, but it's going to need to be a maximum.
It's got a 3-second gap, so this is where you start lifting and coasting any way you possibly can, isn't it? If you can. I mean, just eke it out. It's run on vapors at some point. He will be at the end of this race, but it could just be enough. Don't want to give. He knows if he comes to pit lane right now, he's outside that top 10.
Barbs is claiming in the chat Mayer's going to be 1 to 2 laps short, and I agree with him. I think he is going to be 1 or 2 short. He ultimately probably needed a safety car prior to now to keep him in the position. So he is race leader at this stage, but Richard Mayer will need a pit because mathematically speaking, he's going to be 1 to 2 laps too short. So for Owen Coleman, effective race leader, 1 second is the gap between himself and Kane Ryder.
Could just turn the engine off, Richard. Just turn it off and just let it roll down the hill, mate.
Nah, you give up too much time for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not like NASCAR where you can turn off the engine mid-corner. And then just keep rolling. But yeah, for Owen Coleman, I mean, this has been an all-time end to this race. A great strategy tonight. Saved some fuel. Managed to take a little bit less than the Team Max Boost cars. And has put himself in a race-winning position on board that Mustang. If he can pull this out, it'll be an all-time way to start his campaign for 2026 and in Season 7 as well.
Here comes Edward.
Ed Adcock has exited pit lane in P6, so not too bad of a loss, actually, from when he already pitted. So this is a pretty good night for Ed at the moment, up 12 at this stage and sitting inside of the top 10. Daniel Fritz, by the way, who leads the Challenger class, we believe he still needs a pit stop as well. So that should promote Pete Baxter back into the lead of that class towards the end of this race, and the only thing Pete has to do now is survive 7 more minutes as Fritz comes into pit lane, so Peter Baxter will be the race leader of the Challenger class at this point.
2 viewers shy of 100, so get your mates, get your cats and dogs, get your grandma, granddad, and everybody involved in here, so we can crack that century for these fantastic gladiators battling it out for the first round here at Bathurst for the Premier Endurance Dash.
Get in there and watch it. It has been an all-timer. Shout out to Daniel Piper as well. We saw him in the wall earlier tonight. He currently sits inside of the top 10, but again, he's on the same strategy as Richard Mayer, so we suspect that McLaren will need to come into pit lane once again towards the end of this race. On board now with Kane Ryder, effective P2 in this one. We've also got P1 ahead of him in Owen Coleman, who sits P2 at this stage.
Catching him a little bit.
They're catching him a little bit. So he's trying to fuel save it, but I think he's going to be too short. The gap's now only down to 1.1 seconds, so they've caught up by 2 seconds.
Fastest and first and second sector as well too. On top of that, mate, flying.
They've gained 1.3 seconds across the last lap, so this has been a significant gain for Owen Coleman and Kane Ryder, and it's only going to be a matter of time for Richard Mayer before these guys pass him, I feel, and I think that there's not much more he's going to be able to do, but all Owen Coleman can do is just try and build the gap, try and put it together perfectly, follow the instructions that you taught yourself in the pre-week's practice, and make sure that you can knock this one home. Set yourself up well for momentum leading into the iRacing Bathurst 12-hour in 2 weeks. Set yourself up well for the LSR 12-hour in about a month's time if you're going to be taking part.
He's not boxing either, Richard.
He's not boxing. Richard's going to continue on, but he's going to try and push this to the very last moment, I feel, Dean. I don't think he's going to want to come in too early. He'll push this thing to the very end.
The only thing is right now, at the pace that Owen's catching him, he's going to catch him probably right at the mountain point, so where that's very difficult to overtake. And, of course, Richard does not have to just yield. He's battling for track position here. That wheel, Owen's worried. He's got a very fast Kane Ryder in his mirrors as well, too, and he's just set one of the quickest laps as well, too, for Owen Coleman. So he needs to just basically just try to get up into the back bumper there of Richard and somehow find a way past him. But this is where he's going to be catching him right now, and this is the difficult part we all know in Bathurst, where it's difficult to overtake.
Very, very difficult part to pass here. The probably only opportunity that Coleman's going to have across the top if there's a mistake between Sulman and Reed Park. That's going to be the only chance that he has. Otherwise, he's just going to have to sit there and wait until after Forest Elbow and try and get this done down Conrod Straight or down at the Chase at the very latest moment. For Richard Mayer, he's trying to nurse this car home. Calculations say he's going to need a pit stop to get it to the checkered flag. And the almighty puddle of death at the top of the hill still remains. It could still claim some victims to the end. You see the gain under brakes there from Kane Ryder into the dipper on the back of Coleman. He's getting held up now from Mayer. He'll be wanting to get past that Merc as soon as possible. Maximise your exit and go for it. Get yourself a race win. Not only for you, but for Ford and for the Mustang fans out there. For Ryder, he's doing it for the old-time Lamborghini fans who've driven that thing through thick and thin, from being the best car on the grid to being the worst. But he's got to try and defend Kane, and he's got to try and attack Mayer if he can. He'll cover the inside. Ryder with nowhere to go. And Coleman, I suppose, just play the waiting game. Wait for Mayer to come into pit lane. If he does,
he has to come in now.
He's in now. So now for Coleman, it's maximise across the top. Put as much space between you and Kane Ryder across the crest of this mountain, this great mountain, this mountain made of memories, made of heroes and made of legends, and turn yourself into one. Put yourself on the wall of honours and get yourself an all-time race win to start 2026 in the GT3 Limited Series. Brought to you by Dash Offroad and Premier Endurance League as well, as they run up towards Griffin's Bend for one final time. We're going to have one more lap after this one, I think, Dean. So I think we've got this and one more. So we're going to go 50 laps this evening at Bathurst. And for Owen Coleman, it has been patience personified tonight. I think is probably the best way to describe it, because he has sat in P2 pretty much the whole way and has bided his time, has waited for his chance, and has waited for the moment to get himself in the race lead and possibly to the top step of the podium when the checkered flag flies.
No traffic up the road for these drivers, so it's just go, go, go to the end of this race. There's that puddle of death again. But unfortunately has not caught any victim, at least in the last 15 minutes in this race, after a couple of cautions caught it out. But Kane's going to want to give this every single thing, man. He's going to get the kitchen sink, he's going to get the cats and dogs, he's going to get the kids, and he's going to be chucking them at the back there of Owen Coleman's car to see what he can do, because Kane's been leading majority of this race, and now he's going, all right, I don't want to be a P2, I want a P1. So we were expecting this was going to be a bit of a shootout towards the end of the race, and you got one right here.
Well, the problem for Coleman is he's got no one to draft on. Ryder's got the draft from Coleman's Mustang up the inside of the chase, too wide. Coleman's going to be on the inside under brakes. Tries to take as much track as he possibly can. He hangs on to P1, stays ahead of Kane Ryder. Ryder is going to get one more chance to get this move made. With 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock, white flag comes out. 1 lap to go at Bathurst. 1 lap to go at the mountain. 1 lap for Owen Coleman to survive before he's a race winner in PEO in 2026. And before he takes home his first piece of silverware in Season 7. What a place this could be to do it for the Kiwi at the front end of the field. Beat the Australians at their own game.
Yep.
Oh, it would leave a bad taste in the mouth of the Australian fans out there.
Yes,
but for the Kiwis and the lovers of the Silver Fern watching, they'll be hoping that they can. As Kane Ryder has just had a blink. He's had a massive blink, sorry.
Yeah, he's right, thankfully. But this is going to be interesting as well, too, because what happens is that Kane did show his cards. He laid him down on the poker table. He said, here you go. And Owen said, oh, sorry, a 4 of a kind beats a flush. Now, what can he do right now? Kane can't. He's going to show this. If he's going to show the same cards again, Owen's going to call him on it. So, what can Kane do that's different, perhaps, that Owen can't cover off here in the final lap of this race?
He has to maximise his run out of Forest Elbow. It's the only chance that Kane Ryder has. He's got to maximise the run. Hope that Owen makes a mistake. If Owen balks him on Apex, that may be the only chance that Owen has to stopping the run for Kane Ryder.
Traffic.
There is some lap traffic ahead of them. They don't want this to be a factor. As round goes Owen Coleman, and Kane Ryder is right on the tail of him. He is right on the back of the Mustang. Don't give up the inside line of the Lambo. He'll try and get past you. Down the inside. Kane tries to go. Coleman wants to follow the outside to get the inside line of the next corner. Can he hang on to him? He's got to run. He covers him. Trying to go on the outside. Kane Ryder takes the race lead from Owen Coleman with 1 more corner to go. Can Owen Coleman snatch this back from him? He's going to cover the very inside of the road. Coleman goes for an outside run. Little door from him. Kane comes through. Kane Ryder wins it in an all-timer at Bathurst as Coleman comes home in P2 by 0.2 of a second. Daniel McCrowan home in P3. My oh my, it was elbows out for the final 6.2 Ks, and arguably, Dean, if the lap traffic wasn't there, would it have ended the same way?
Yeah, that's very true, isn't it? Right place, wrong time, etc., on that one. But what a brilliant battle between these two gladiators, and this is just the start of the season, so I can't wait to see how that's going to be brewing up more and more and more. Daniel gets that P3. Edward, what a nice late charge there for Edward Adcock as well too, my friend. Getting themselves up 14 places as well too to finish in that 4th step essentially there. Jesse Butler, Rocky.
Well, look who was up. Look who was up the most positions though. Just to shove the dagger in the back of Scott Rankin a bit more. Peter Baxter, our Challenger class winner tonight, up 28 positions into P8 overall. Are you kidding me? And wins it for the Challenger class as well. What a finish to that race, ladies and gentlemen. It was an all-time finish to that one. Super, super tight, super, super close, all the way to the end. What a final lap we just saw from both. The hat has to go off to both Kane Ryder and Owen Coleman. A great effort. Elbows out. Owen tried his best. Kane pulled every single trick out of the book. And after 2 hours, after 120 minutes, and after, well, what would have been 50 laps of the 6.2K circuit, around about 300 kilometres, it is Kane Ryder who is the race winner here this evening for Premier Endurance League out at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Owen Coleman comes home P2 with Daniel McCrowan in P3 overall. Pete Baxter wins it for the Challenger class tonight, Ben Wilkes, and Gavin Simpson comes home P3 for the Challenger class as well. It's been a fantastic race once again. We await our podium finishers to come and have a chat to us, come and tell us how they're feeling as well, and to really get all the nitty and gritty, Dean, on how the race went for them.
Oh, absolutely. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and we'll get these results up on the screen for you right now.
We just to wait for the final cars to cross the start-finish line. There we go. So it is Owen Coleman In the race win, P2, I'm used to seeing P1 in the middle, that's my mistake. Kane Ryder with the race win. Ahead of Owen Coleman and Daniel McCowan in behind. Ed Adcock, Jesse Butler, ahead of Brock Caddy and Richard Mayer. Pete Baxter wins it for the Challenger class this evening, ahead of Stephen Tonkin and Ben Wilkes inside of the top 10 as well. Pete was also the hard charger here this evening too. Kane Ryder with the most laps led. Fast lap of the race went to Owen Coleman with his 2:03.92. Kane Ryder, of course, had the pole position in the end as well. Past P10, it was Alex Tzakis in P11, Gavin Simpson, Daniel Piper, head of Vidi Nguyen, Nick Clydesdale, Wade Reynolds, Andrew Neal, Matthew Carrick, Daniel Fritz, Alfonso Latea makes up the top 20, Ben Gorringe, Travis Azzopardi, Dean Reddit, Luke King, Matthew Crozier, head of Dale Atkins, Jacob Hughes, Jason Adams, Tristan McLaren and Luke Capozza for our top 30. Christian Wells ahead of Sean Benici, Nathan Hodges, Jake DeBetta with Jesse McMenamin, Josh Swain, ahead of PJ Whiteman, Kurt Chapman, Greg Heaney, Matt Schmidtke, Bradley Hudswell, John Akers, just outside of the top 40, Matt Webber, Nick Schmalenberg ahead of Brett Tucker, Chris Ruddle, James Mason, John Trott, Rick Hoystra, Scott Rankin, Mark Foster, Brendan Purcell, Greg Barber makes the back end of the field. The drivers who made it past the first 10 laps, Nigel Seidel never made it past lap 3, unfortunately for him. We've got two of our top 3 cars in the green room and our Challenger class winner and P2 in the Challenger class as well in Ben Wilkes. We'll start out with P2 in the Challenger class this evening for Ben Wilkes, who came into tonight not expecting Pete Baxter to have that sort of game, Ben.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, he raced very well.
Well, how was your race? Because, well, we saw the way it started, there was contact under the safety car from Alex Tzakis in behind you. That started your night off a little bit crunchy, but you drove very, very well all throughout. How was it for you across the 2 hours, dealing with the stresses of Bathurst and dealing with the carnage that was surrounding you as well?
Yeah, mate, I just tried to keep a clean race. Obviously, the start wasn't ideal, but the car felt a little twitchy to begin with. But the plan tonight was just to keep banging in those 205s and try and keep the tyres alive.
Well, you seem to manage to keep them alive. Was there anything else you could have done differently to try and hold off Pete a little bit longer, or were you thinking there's no point holding him off to this stage, let's just let him go, let's try and push on and see if we can get back at him towards the end of the race?
Well, in all honesty, mate, I actually thought he was an elite driver, so I just let him go past. But
you are the only person to think Pete Baxter is an elite driver, I think, there, Ben.
Yeah, no, well, it is what it is. I mean, in any event, mate, his pace was pretty fast, so I don't think I really would have held him off for too much longer. So I was only delaying the inevitable.
Well, obviously, garnered some great points tonight after such a long race. Is there anything you're going to be able to take away from tonight and apply to Adelaide in round 2 in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, just the confidence. Obviously, I ended the season well last year with a win, and I think I'd P2 in this one. So, just getting that consistency up, which is really good. So, just getting to know the racecraft of those around me, and just trying to avoid the carnage.
I think it's the best thing you can do, especially on the streets of Adelaide next week. Ben, we really appreciate your time coming and have a chat to us. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here this evening?
Yeah, just a shout out to Cobalt Racing, Jake DeBella, who's jumped on board with me this year, which is really good. So, and just a massive thank you to the Pell crew, yourself, and the race control for such a great league.
Well, Ben, we really appreciate your time coming and have a chat to us. Best of luck in your preparations, possibly for the Bathurst 12 hour if you're participating, but also for Adelaide in a few weeks' time in round 2. We look forward to seeing if you can build upon this P2 here tonight and maybe go one better, get yourself a race win on the streets of Adelaide.
Legend. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks so much. Ben Wilkes, P2 in the Challenger class here this evening. Next up, to what may be Scott Rankin's behest, Dean, Peter Baxter, the Challenger class winner. And Pete, before we get started, a few little notes for you here. Ben Wilkes thought you were an elite driver this evening. And you finished this race not only ahead of Scott Rankin, but you finished every single lap this evening and he did not. So congratulations to you on that fact.
I love the facts. Yeah, look, I did. Rob was spotting for me and I said to Rob, I said, send a message to Ben, make sure he knows I'm in Challenger so he knows we're racing each other. Because, I mean, I knew I was up there without a tag in the survey, and I thought, oh no, I need to be fair to Ben. So Rob sent a message, but I don't think Ben, it either got through right or It's a full message got there. But anyway, I think I had a bit of pace on him anyway, so I think it's okay. But look, hey, 2 hours after rolling my ankle on Friday night, not even thinking I'm going to be able to race, and keeping it clean. Geez, I tell you what, there was a lot of cars hitting the wall, wasn't there? Wow.
There were a lot of them, Pete. I think now, though, perfect time for you to come back in the commentary booth because
Pete.
you've proven yourself now in front of nearly everybody. There's only 7 cars you didn't beat tonight, and you had a rolled ankle. I mean, I think finishing P8 with a rolled ankle is pretty much winning the race overall, is it not?
I doubt it. I mean, those guys in front, they were way quicker, mate. They're pulling away. Even when I had clean air, they were still pulling away from me. So I think guys behind me are like, oh, they're catching up to me too, the ones at incident. So, I think there was a whole heap of luck involved in tonight. But, hey, look, you got to take it when you can. As you know,
right.
Hamish, I had a shocker on Thursday night. So, to have a clean race and get through is a nice change.
And Pete, you only gained 28 places too, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, only 28 places. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Almost 30.
I came in and changed my tyres and reset my car for qualifying. And on the green lap, I lost it in the cutting. First time I'd done it, like for a month. And I'm like, oh, no. And then it must have broken the drive shaft because it wouldn't go. So, yeah, I was out of quali with like 15 minutes to go. I'm like, oh, well, that's it. Is what it is. I think I was 21st at the time. I thought, yeah, okay, I can live with that. And then it dropped down to like 35th. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. All right, just pick them off one by one if I can.
Pete, I really felt for you on Thursday, especially after, obviously the high of you being able to get some training from Scott Rankin and then for it to pretty much be over before it was really even started in terms of trying to have a better position up the road, obviously at the start of a race by being on the grass on the first lap. That was a tough thing to watch, but you made up for it tonight. Top 10, Challenger class win as well. What are you going to take away from tonight that you can apply to Adelaide next time out? And what as well are you going to take away from when you were last at Adelaide, which would have been for the vets back in December? What can you apply from tonight and that time at Adelaide into next week, and how you're going to approach that 2 1-hour races out there where it's going to be more of a sprint format, might be a little bit more carnage, but a little bit more desperation? Do you think there's anything you can do to try and maybe avoid that and succeed by doing that as well?
I think it's laps. I think Adelaide was one of the tracks because it came out right. Everybody put a whole heap of laps into it. I put more practice into that for the vets race than I normally did, and I come up to speed. So it's lots of laps at Adelaide and getting a fairly compliant car that you can sort of touch the curbs and not lose it too much. As far as the 2 1-hour races go, mate. My whole philosophy is always try and find clean air. And if you can find clean air somewhere, then you can end up normally with a good result. But if you're stuck in traffic, you've got to sort of get the strategy brain switched on and go from there. So I guess that's the only way you can take it.
Well, congratulations on your performance here tonight, Pete. Really, really great effort. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to this evening before we let you go, or any friends or family maybe watching, any potential sponsors out there too, or maybe someone you want to just poke with a stick and say, I did something that you didn't?
I think you've already poked that person. And
we have.
He jumped in and poked himself. But no, thanks Scotty Rankin for his result tonight. I'd just thank my brother Rob for jumping in, spotting for me. He's come a long way on the iRacing journey. Reality Fishing Charters for letting us use their brand and make their colours and their brand a bit sort of linked to CX2 Racing. So thanks to them, and to Maddie from RFS Graphics, who he does all of my paints. So Maddie's a great guy. He's over in Perth. He pulls all of these reality paints together for me. He does all the banners for each of the leagues, all the different cars. So good on Matty. RFX Paints, RFX Graphics it is, and he's probably the number one supporter that sort of helps us out outside of the car. One other thing, I want to thank my endurance team, Pull My Finger Racing, and in particular the Frenchman in that team, Francois, who is a real life strategist, has won the 12-hour Sebring in real life GT3. So strategist, and he did the setup tonight for this in preparation for the Bathurst official 12 hours. So that's made a big difference.
Well, we appreciate you coming and chat to us, Pete. Best of luck at Adelaide in a few weeks' time. We appreciate everything that you did last season for us, and you well earned the season in the car as well. But we'll see if you can go 2 in a row next time before we make our way over to the US at Road America, or maybe even if it's another podium for yourself, I think that'll be a win.
Don't count chickens, mate. I just want to get to the finish line.
That's all you got to do. Thanks so much, Pete. Best of luck.
See you, boys.
Thank you. Next up tonight, we have our P3 on the road in Daniel McCrowan for Team Max Boost. Daniel, you and Kane pushed the strategy tonight. You guys didn't change tyres at any point, did you? You guys were on that same set the whole way, if my math was correct in the end.
No, we both took right-hand tyres.
Right-hand tyres?
Right-hand tyres.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep, just the right side, because they get punished more than anything around there.
So our graphics were right. 2 tyres.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know we were at Daytona.
It didn't work for us, but we did it.
I mean, a bold strategy is still a good strategy, is it not? If it still gets you a podium in the end. But I mean, you guys drove really well. Obviously, scary moment for Kane when you guys came into pit lane. He nearly put it in the wall at the cunning. You then nearly did the same thing on the next time out of pit lane. What was the mentality for you guys? Because that was a very intense last lap for us, with Kane trying to get past Owen. What was it for you guys, obviously sitting together? Was it just full concentration, deadpan silence, or was it panic and, stations go trying to find a way to get past him?
Well, I didn't quite have the pace at the end. I was pretty knackered after 2 hours, but Kane nearly got past on the second last lap, and then we just let him go for a bit of radio silence in the end. And I think he was going to send it no matter what. Not dirty or anything like that, but he was very close on the previous lap, so he thought he'd give it a go. And just talking to Owen, he loved it as well. So it was nice, clean racing, and probably good to watch too.
Well, it'll be one for you guys to enjoy post-race. What's something you guys are going to be able to take out of Bathurst and apply to Adelaide next time out in a few weeks' time? Because obviously it was rather chaotic tonight at the mountain. Streets of Adelaide can be a bit chaotic as well. What's Team Max Boost going to try and take out of tonight to apply to the next round?
Well, we both short fueled in the second last stop, and it probably would have worked for us, but then another safety car came out. So, we probably won't be as risky with the strategy next time. I think we'll just play it cool and, hope our pace is good enough.
Well, we'll see how it all works out for you. Do you want to do the sponsor shout-outs, or do you want to leave it for Kane as the race winner?
Absolutely, Kane can do all that.
Very good. Well, Daniel, is there anyone that you want to personally shout out before we let you go?
Just the team and my wife for letting me spend so many hours doing this expensive hobby that we all love. And you boys as well. It's great to watch and a great league.
Well, thanks so much, Daniel. Best of luck at Adelaide in a few weeks' time, and best of luck in the Bathurst 12-hour if you're participating in a few weeks' time as well.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have our P2 here this evening too for Digital Motorsports team. Dean, it is Owen Coleman, who ultimately, Dean, he drove a very impressive race tonight, but in the dying embers of it, lost it in the end there, Owen. But surely you can still hold your head up high for such a performance here this evening.
No, I'm stoked with that race. Like, you guys saw my races last season. Yeah, wasn't exactly anything to write home about. So, no, I'm actually absolutely stoked. Honestly, it feels like a win for me, so I'm happy.
I mean, it was about as close as you could hope it to be. What was the pressure like from your perspective over those last few laps? Because obviously Kane was right on you on the second last lap, couldn't quite get the job done, and then as you're coming down towards Forest Elbow, there's a lapped car ahead of you. What was going through your mind at that very moment when you saw the lapped car there, and were you hoping it was maybe 100 meters down the road instead of right where he was?
Yeah, I was sort of hoping he was further down. I saw him there. I was like, oh no. So it was all down to the braking marker, and I think, me and Kane were both on the absolute limit of what we could do. So he sort of had to slow up a little bit mid-corner to actually make the corner, and then just the rest of the corners I was just like, well, I'm not lifting, I'm just going to send it. So but oh well, that's how it ends, I suppose. But no, overall I'm happy with it. The racing was awesome, so heaps clean with them guys. So it was good fun.
Well, Owen, a great effort from yourself tonight. Really, really well driven, which we really appreciate, obviously. You drove very clean and very, very quick as well. What's something you're going to try and take out of tonight's race to apply to Adelaide next time out for round 2?
Oh, I don't really know, to be honest. Like, it's a completely different sort of track. I think it's just going to be a case of trying to stay off the walls and minimise the slowdowns on turn 1, because I reckon they'll probably catch a few people out. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a case of survival, really, and throttle management, because a lot of stop starts at the corners. So with the Mustang, it's got a tendency to try to lose the rear end. So I think that'll be the main thing. Just being gentle, really.
Well, a top-level effort tonight, Owen. We really appreciate your time coming over chat to us. We hope you can continue this run of form in throughout the rest of the season as well. Is there anyone you want to give a shout-out to this evening before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely Sam at Veolia, for coming on board this season. I absolutely appreciate it. Dash, Offroad, Maddie and them, Subspeed, and you guys in the booth, and pretty much just everyone that's been watching. It's we can't do it without you guys, so thank you.
Well, Owen, congratulations. Owen Campbell, P2 this evening.
Coleman.
Coleman, sorry. Coleman. Sorry, Owen. Coleman. I hope you know now I'm going to strictly pronounce it as Cole Man.
Too easy, thank you.
Thanks, Owen. Best of luck at Adelaide.
Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
Next up, we have our race. I'm in trouble now, apparently. Next up, we have our race winner here this evening for Team Max Boost. It was the pole sitter. He led the most laps as well. It is Kane Ryder. Kane, congratulations. I'm sure there's a bit of perspiration coming off the top brow of your forehead right now after such an intense end to that race. Man, talk us through it, because we were trying to figure out everything and anything of what could happen for you for your strategy. First, we thought you guys were going to have to take full set of tyres in the last stop. Then you didn't. We found out from Daniel you guys took right sides like it's a NASCAR race, and you went for it on the second last lap, couldn't quite get there, and then a bit of lap traffic and a good run out of Forest Elbow got you the run you needed and the push you needed to try and get the race lead, and somehow come away with this race win. I mean, dude, what a race. What a performance from yourself. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, the perspiration started about 3 minutes into the race, to be honest. But I think we did it the hard way there with the strat. We short fielded on the second or third stop, and then we got the safety car, so that kind of negated all that. And then, only taking the half set was probably not the wisest move either. So I was really struggling through the right-handers there, and he was just killing us over the top of the hill at the end of the race. And I was pretty much resigned to the fact that I might not get close enough. But look, a little bit of luck with the lap car coming out of Forest Elbow. I kind of checked him up a little bit, so I was able to get alongside him a little bit earlier. And by that time, I'm thinking I'm either going to make the move or I'm going to come off the end here at Conrod. So thankfully, I pulled it up.
Well, you managed to pull it up. You managed to take home a great win. You got yourself a moment in the sun, obviously. What were some of the biggest challenges you found tonight? Because obviously we saw a lot of drivers making mistakes off safety car restarts. Tyres may not have been up to temperature for them possibly, or just some simple mistakes like that. How was it just keeping the mind focused, and how much did that actually pull out of you trying to keep yourself focused and keep your race under control at the most crucial of times off those safety car restarts, especially up in the race lead?
Yeah, they were tricky, that's for sure, because it's very hard to keep any sort of temperature into the tyres. So no matter all the weaving you do, it's still not going to be able to keep those temperatures up. So yeah, it's really sketchy those first lap. So it was just more about survival for me in those. I didn't really push too hard in any of the restarts, and I think that was the key to being quick, though, was just not over push and not make mistakes.
Well, do you think it's going to be a similar mindset going into Adelaide in a few weeks for round 2? Obviously, tough street circuit, often chaos ensues there. Could be a similar scenario as Bathurst tonight. How do you picture your race going next time? Do you think it's going to be same mentality, try and get the same performance, or is there some work to be done to try and get there feeling confident and strong on the streets of Adelaide?
Look, the Lambo performed really well in the officials around Adelaide, so I'm hoping that we might even have the car advantage there. So I'm hoping for yeah, good things there. So yeah, it'd be super important qualifying there. Yeah, you definitely want to be at the sharp end of the field.
Well, Kane, it's a massive effort for you tonight to take home this race win. A massive congratulations to you. I did ask Daniel if he wanted to do the sponsors or if I should leave them to you, and guess what he said?
No, of course he would leave it to me.
Yeah, of course. So if there's anyone you want to give a shout out to, Kane, please do right now. The floor is yours. Myself and Dean alongside me and everyone at Premier Endurance League, congratulations on being the round 1 winner at Mount Panorama for the Dash Offroad GT3 Limited Series.
Yep, thank you guys. I'd just like to thank our official sponsor, ePaints. They specialise in like helmets and suits and even liveries. So, and also just all the boys and girls at Max Boost. They've really got around us all doing in the PEL and helped us out. So that's always handy.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Kane. Best of luck at Adelaide in a few weeks' time. And if you're taking part in it as well, best of luck in the Bathurst 12-hour in 2 weekends' time as well.
Yep, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks so much. Kane Ryder, race winner here this evening at Bathurst. And Dean, what a way to start the season. An intense end to that race. And now, what more can you say other than wow? I mean, what a run.
I mean, you're talking about the last lap came down to the difference, wasn't it, between first and second, and that's been brewing up for some time. Multiple safety cars, fantastic drive there, he said, from Pete as well, too, to get himself the Challenger class win there, and it could have gone anyway, really, between Owen and Kane towards that. And that, I mean, in an endurance race for 2 hours, and you have to come down to the last dying minutes to decide the race winner, just goes to show you what fantastic level of competition we have in this series.
And shows you the kind of racing we see from this series as well. And it's why, you know, it's always a treat whenever we get to go racing with PEL. We've only got 5 rounds for you this season. First round's been taken out by Kane Ryder and for Peter Baxter for the Elite and Challenger class here this evening. Coming up in a few weeks' time, we go to the streets of Adelaide for round 2 of the PEL Limited Series. We're looking forward to finishing our little Australian duo run. We head out to the streets of Adelaide. A big shout out to the series sponsors, starting with our minor sponsors, of course, Kibby Graphics, branded clothing, car wraps, and commercial graphics. You can find them over at kibbygraphics.com.au. Sim Racing Focus podcast as well, podcast focused on sim racing. You find them over at facebook.com/sim racing in focus, as well as on all your podcast channels, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even YouTube for the video variant of the podcast as well. Shout out to our safety car sponsor, Sudspeed Gloves. They got plenty of showcase tonight for premium sim racing gloves for sim racers made by sim racers. You can find them at www.sudspeed.com. And to the series title sponsors as well, staying here with us in PEL for another season for the limited series, Dash Offroad 4x4 parts and accessories store. Head over to www.dashoffroad.com.au. I'm in Hamish Rondo, though, alongside Dean Biggles once again. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here in the Premier Endurance League. We'll see you guys next time when we head to the streets of Adelaide, but until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.